how's it going, everybody? Episode 65 of the Erick and Brad Show. Episode 65 of the Erick and Brad Show. You can hit follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, email us, erickandbradshow@gmail.com, erickandbradshow@gmail.com. If you're just listening to this show today, it's a very sad show. Eric's not with us. He passed away. This is just a solo Brad show today. But we're still going to try to have a good time. Apparently, while I was getting my second COVID shot, his chick texted me and said, we lost Eric. He was trying to do the milk crate TikTok challenge in his garage, and he was filming it for the podcast to try to do some promo for us, which we're trying to get a hold of that footage to continue the promo and try to get some views out of this whole debacle. But from what I'm hearing from his chick, he made it to the top crate. So we can always say that about Eric. He made it to the top crate, and I'm going to start a GoFundMe to try to get that on his gravestone. I mean, at least he made it to the top milk crate, and then, it just wobbles, and it all comes crashing down. And then he bashed his head on the ground, and that was it for him. He was just trying to complete that fucking TikTok challenge. And we're also waiting for a toxicology report as well, which between you and me, I know we can think of at least one thing in the system, the drinky. And then he also tested positive for COVID too, so that's going to go down as a new COVID death for the state of Oregon. But it's just going to be a solo Brad show today, and if you are watching this episode on YouTube, then you know that I'm joking, and Eric is still with us. How's it going, man?
Hey, how you doing there, buddy?
Good.
I was just as shocked as the rest of the world there. Like, did I die? Am I dead?
You're trying to go over the milk crate pyramid.
I mean, man's got to do what a man's got to do, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to...
And I was just thinking... I was sitting there, and as soon as the needle punctured into my arm and the nurse was injecting me with God only knows what, I was thinking, why wouldn't he do this on grass? He was doing it in his garage. But, mysteries of life.
Oh, yep.
Meanwhile, I'm fully vaxxed and fully waxed, baby.
Fully vaxxed and fully waxed.
Fully vaxxed.
Hell yeah.
I got my card, and I'm legal to go anywhere I want to now.
How legit is this card?
It's a paper card with stickers on it and my name.
Like it could easily be forged?
Probably, but I think it's about as as much consequences of forging as if you were to forge like a driver's license or social security card. It's like a federal document.
Yeah?
Forging a federal document, yeah.
Huh.
But I got my passport too, so now I'm fucking cleared for everything.
Well, I'm definitely not thinking about forging a card. That was not what I was thinking about doing.
Yes, you do not want a photocopy of my card sent to you.
No, not at all.
You don't want that.
That is not what I... No. Nope, don't do it.
No.
I think Bill Gates
we're
might
not
be listening.
Doing that.
So.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
I fucking hate a vaccine. Fully vaxxed and fully waxed.
How you feeling? Was it troublesome for a few days or?
No, it was identical to the first thing. It's just my arm hurt.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just kept saying fully vaxxed and fully waxed to everybody, and they were saying, why are you saying that? I'm like, well, they didn't wax your, you didn't wax your balls when you got your fucking vaccine? Is that just me? Fully vaxxed and fully waxed, baby.
They waxed their balls?
Isn't that what it happens to everybody?
Were they doing vaccines at like an Asian massage parlor or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I got mine.
Little happy ending with your vaccine?
Oh, come on. That would have made it a lot better.
Yeah.
No, it's just fucking boot you out the door. And I'm like, is this free? They're like, no, your insurance should be paying for it. I was under the impression they were fucking giving them out for free.
Wait, yeah, I thought vaxes were all free.
That's what I thought. I said, "Is this free?"
Yeah,
they
and
said,
I've been wondering that,
like,
and then I've been wondering who's paying for it.
Yeah, when's the last time that the government gave anything away for fucking free? I mean, other than the money they've been sending you.
Yeah.
And the rest of the country.
They've gotten a lot.
Dude,
they've changed. It's not the same unemployment as it was a year ago.
Less?
They're cracking. Yeah, they're back on schedule with how they're running unemployment, at least in Oregon. So it's not this never-ending. Now at least you have to go job search and shit like that. They'll stop your benefits after a month if you don't actively search for work.
And I heard the eviction ban is no longer in place, which is good too.
Yep. But
landlords need money too.
Yep. But it's ramping back up, it seems. Everyone's getting all scared again.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's getting all scared again. I guess Oregon is, we've already passed, we're back to mask, which fucking irritates the shit out of me. It seemed like we got about a week. We got a week of no mask, and then the governor's like, mask mandate, everyone. It doesn't matter what's going on. Everyone's got to wear a mask. And then I guess the word on the street is they're talking about doing a outdoor mask mandate where you have to have a mask on if you're outdoors, which that seems a little crazy to me, but
they should make you wear 3 of them.
Yeah. But honestly, I've gone through a lot of stages in this pandemic, and now I'm on this stage of like, I mean, if it's like a 7-Eleven or a corporate store, I won't wear I'll wear a mask. But fucking, I'm like anywhere else. Like, I'll just walk into restaurants and just like maskless. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, yell at me. It's just so irritating.
Yeah.
We're going back down. Oregon's going back down. I don't know if that's the feeling over there, but it's the feeling over here.
No, it's not the feeling over here.
Well, and they said
no masks really.
Yesterday they said that I guess there was talks between the state officials and the school board and all the metro schools, all the Portland schools, and I'm not sure about Beaverton, but I think Beaverton falls into that too, is they all just canceled the school year, the 2021-22 school year. So they're not going to do it in person anymore. It's going to go right back to all computer shit, which is just ridiculous to me. Yeah, going to be 2 years. Fucking anyone that lived in Portland hasn't stepped in a fucking classroom.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Dude, it's going to be...
That's like your wet dream. You fucking were born literally about 13 years too late. Or whatever the math works out to.
There's gonna be kids that like their whole high school experience is COVID, basically.
Yeah, dude, think about it. If you were like
or middle school,
let's say you came into that as your sophomore, like you went to 1 year as a freshman, and then your sophomore year just out, and now your junior year out. Dude, that's insane. Imagine missing your sophomore and junior year, like being in school. That's insane.
No.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that is insane to think about. Because then if you have to go back for like one senior year, you're going to be like, and then you're done, you're going to be like fucking not prepared for goddamn thing. Or like middle school, I mean like middle school in Idaho was like 2 years. You could miss the entire middle school.
Which is insane.
Experience.
Socially, that's insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. You go from elementary school to the next school you go to is high school.
Yeah.
That's just crazy.
That'd be crazy. I think people are robbing kids of their childhood. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty sad. Like the people who, I don't know, the people who like, you just want kids not to be kids in the fear of like old people dying. But it's like, well, that's all cool. The people who are deciding these things all had a great childhood. You know what I mean? Like all the people making decisions right now, like grew up in the 80s and 90s when it was like the best time to be a fucking kid. Fucking bikes on the street. Fucking everyone was making money. Fucking bam, bam, bam. Now they're like,
social media.
We shut this shit down. It's like, oh, well, fuck. Like, honestly, like, fuck that. That's really sad for people missing prom and shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and people talk shit about my generation, whatever that may be. being antisocial. Wait till you
Oh
have
my.
kids that spent all of high school on Zoom. They're not gonna be able to do a job interview or fucking any kind of shit like that.
Shaking hands, like that's a skill set that's fucking out the window. Like good firm handshake. Like, well, what about germs? It's like, Jesus Christ.
I know. Yeah, or like standing up for yourself in person, or just being able to like, you and a group of people don't know what to do, and you got to just fucking take initiative and be the leader and whatever. It's gonna be like, no, you can only do that if you're on a Zoom. That's the only place you're comfortable.
Yeah.
You spent fucking your teen years doing it.
It's gonna be a crazy, crazy time.
But yeah, you don't want like 8-year-old kids having to worry about killing old people. You want them to just be kids.
Exactly.
It's too adult.
Yeah, it's nutty. I hope it doesn't affect Beaverton. We'll see. See how it works out.
Well, I'm fully vaxxed and fully waxed, so I'm ready to go. Wherever I got to go. Oh, I am not ready for fucking winter. It is seriously up here right now. It is like winter. It's like everyone's on the winter vibes because it's dipped down in temperatures at night. It's like 50 something, high 40s, and it's like coming, and I'm not ready for it, dude. I feel like I'm on a U-boat headed for Normandy Beach, and it's like D-Day. And I know exactly how those guys felt because that's how I feel right now. Like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And so I have the same mindset of them because they were thinking, I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to fucking make it through this winter. This might be the death of me. If we get to like, you know how it goes. If it gets to like -50, well, not if, fucking when, Brad might just tap the fuck out. When it's -50 or whatever, and the wind's blowing and you're cold, and there's just that voice just being like, just kill yourself. Just kill yourself. It'll be okay. Just do it. Do you want to be warm again?
Yeah.
Are you cold right now? Yes. Yeah, I'm cold. Just kill yourself. Just do it.
Weren't you bitching about summertime coming like 3 months ago?
Was I?
I just feel like you're one of those people that bitches about summer. Like, it's just going to be so hot. And
well, yeah. Well, yeah, if it's like 100, I'm like, fuck this bullshit. I hate summertime.
When it's 100 outside and everyone's complaining and they're like, it's so fucking hot outside, just remember what it's like to be really cold. Because to me, that is, yep, okay, no, it's perfectly fine outside. Well, I get to be outside in flip-flops and shorts and a tank top. Oh, yeah. Wow, sucks that I'm thirsty as shit. Like, way rather have that than fucking cold as shit. Can't feel my fucking toes right now. Fuck this.
Yeah. Just kill yourself.
Just kill yourself. So how did you feel about the, it's kind of late news since we skipped last week. I feel like last week it was more like poppin' news. But what do you feel about that? And I think some pop star said that, it was the lady from... not Third Rock from the Sun, but Big Bang Theory. What's that girl's name?
It's like Kate or something.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't remember her name. But
I hate that show.
I think it was her. She said she was gonna buy the horse that got punched in the Olympics.
I don't even remember a horse getting punched.
Oh, really? You didn't see that?
Yeah.
It was like a big.
I feel like.
It was a pretty big... I saw it multiple times. I saw it so many times I ended up having to like look it up and watch a video and be like, okay, what's going on here with this horse punching stuff? Everyone was all pissed off and they're like, fuck this lady, this German lady decks a fucking horse. Jesus. But so nothing. You didn't hear anything? Okay, so it's like...
no, I didn't.
It's the jumping ones, you know what I mean? I don't know what the name of that is, but horse jumping, they fucking just have all these weird fences set up. And the English style rider girls are out there fucking doing their little jumps. And I watched her run, and horse does like 3 of them and then comes up to one and just fucking stops. And she's like irritated as shit. And what's weird is like, then she just turns the horse, does like 2 more fences, and then comes back to that fence. And the horse does the same thing and almost launches her off the horse because he's like going to do it and then just stops, like right up on the fence. Like, no, I'm not jumping over this. And she's all mad, you know, like horse just fucking ruined her Olympic debut or whatever. And fucking, so they come up to the side, and then like the trainer or the coach or whatever is like, you know, they're both like mad, and the fucking coach just like hits the horse in like the neck, like just bah, like that. And then everyone lost their fucking mind. And they're like, this
that's fucked up.
Fucking horse punching bitch. I feel like everyone that's losing their mind, I think I saw like 1 or 2 people on Facebook who are like horse people who were like, fuck this lady, blah, 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 which confuses me because like one of my best friends boarded horses growing up. So I was around quite a lot of horses. Just when I'd go over to his house, they always had like 30 horses. And it spent quite a bit of time shoveling shit out of stalls and stuff like that. Was around horses a lot. And I remember the dude, the dad there, I remember him decking some fucking horses because the horses did not give 2 shits about you decking them. They're just like, okay. And then it's like, what about like Western style riders that are jamming fucking prods in the side of their side? And it's like, would you rather get decked by a human or jabbed with a fucking spike by someone's heel? Like, honestly, you know what I mean? It's like, I really didn't understand it. It's like, that's not animal cruelty. The animal weighs like 2,000 fucking pounds. You hitting that horse means jack shit to that horse. That's of my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not animal cruelty. It's not like hitting a dog. A dog, you're going to hurt the dog.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt that horse. Maybe if you like square to the nose, like pop right on the nose, yeah, that might fuck a horse up. But fucking, especially a woman throwing a jab on a horse neck on the side, that horse literally...
Well, it's a German woman.
That was...
She could probably knock me out.
That would be like a little mosquito just boop, like hitting it. The horse didn't feel anything. It wasn't like the horse reacted. Right. The horse just like, oh, what's going on over here? I don't know, but anyways, that lady said she was going to buy the horse. I'm pretty sure was the story. I think maybe I misconstrued that headline, but I don't know. I thought it was.
No, I think that's fucked up.
I
don't think you should hit a horse.
I thought it was dumb news and not news.
It's like I'm trying to think, like, say some little kid, like I don't know, 3 or 4-year-old or 5-year-old is not going to like hurt me, but if they like punch you in the face, it's still like annoying and like kind of enraging, isn't it? It's never happened to me. I'm just trying to
irritating,
make a comparison.
But it's not like that 3-year-old is abusing you and that you need to be
right.
You need to go to therapy now because you're
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you're just like, this fucking kid just hit me in the face. So even if the horse was like irritated, like, fuck bitch, like, fuck you, it's fine. It's not like they fucking tie that horse up and fucking whip him all night long. Like, they were just irritated and they punched the horse. He wasn't doing what they trained to fucking do, which I get. It's not the horse who was scared, didn't want to do the jumps, whatever. But I don't know.
It's tough, dude. And you got to think the history of horses. Horses have probably been through some more shit than like literally most creatures. Of all the battles that they've charged into. Yeah. Like all the cannonballs they've taken to the face and all the spears that they've just had to like run at, and the people probably hacking their legs with swords and stuff is what you would do like in a battle. They've taken some shit over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't like horses. The horse stepped on my toe when I was very little. I've never liked them since. But fucking, I get what you're saying. But it's still like, there's a lot of people that like animals more than people. And you got to remember, when someone someone, you know, like kills dogs or something, people want like fiercer punishments for them, like if they were fucking killing people.
The same people.
And you got to remember, like,
the same people that love animals more than humans are the same people chanting about how fucking precious life is right now, and that we all need to protect each other because we're all gonna die.
Right.
I fucking hate PETA
it's crazy.
people. PETA people are fucking horrible. And that was not animal abuse.
Well, I guess I see what you're saying. I mean, whatever's defined, the definition of animal abuse, if that falls into it, then it is animal abuse. But I get what you're saying.
I feel like like, just imagine this line of like all these different lines, like a mixer levels everywhere. Like you have all these little levels. I feel like we're at this stage in life where all we're doing is going around just thing to thing to thing and just moving the level up a little bit. And just like, is this fucked up? Yep, this is fucked up. And is this fucked up? Yep, this is fucked up. You know, is this offensive? Yep, this is offensive. Like if we just keep moving it's just everything. Bars just getting lifted. Just every fucking thing irritates the shit out of me.
It was like that kid on TikTok, and nobody's gonna understand what I'm talking about. But they wanted to cancel him because of a video came out of him stomping on a fish, and it was a dead fish. And for some reason, he was fucking smashing it as hard as he could. And someone was like taking a secret video of him across the street, and he was smashing this fucking dead fish.
Like a goldfish?
And then people were like, "No, I don't think it was a goldfish. It was like a fish." And he was like
a
and then he had to
fish?
apologize. Like he did, yeah. And he did like a crying TikTok apologizing, saying like, "I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have smashed the fish. I've learned my lesson. I need to be kinder to animals and stuff." And I get that, it's just a dead fish, but in the video, he looked like a crazy maniac. It's like if your kid just starts like beheading squirrels and like dismembering them, you're like, this kid's gonna be a serial killer. Like the way people treat animals is a reflection on them and how they would treat people. But like, if someone kills a dog, people act like, it's worse than if they killed a person. But you have to remember, like, it's just a dog. It's just a dog. It's just a fish. It's not the same, really, as people. But I don't know. It's a red flag. If I saw someone just fucking punching a horse or a dog, I'd be like, fuck that person.
Yeah, but this wasn't like... I don't know, like, this wasn't like someone walked by a stall and this bitch is just like, fucking horse, fuck this horse, pop, 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 like doing, no, fucking heat of the moment, they're in the middle of shit and they're just like, fuck, dude, like fucking bitch, come on, do your job, like, fucking, I don't know. Yeah, I'd feel the same way.
It's like football coaches to a player just like smack him on the helmet, like, fucking wake up, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. Yeah.
No one gives a shit. I don't know. And it's like, okay, how do you feel about like, have you ever hit your dog? Like, would you ever hit a dog?
I've smacked my dog before.
Not in the
face.
Is there a line there? You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah, there's a line. It's like with your kid, I was never hit as a kid.
To these people, to these PETA people, it's like, no, there's zero line. Yeah, you touch your dog, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, the little fucker just shit in the house. Like, I'm fucking going to smack his ass. Fuck this bullshit. Yeah. Like, is that not the same fucking thing? And now we're talking about an animal that's legitimately a third your size, and you're fucking smacking that fucking thing. I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Just softies. Just fucking softies. Just going, little line. Just like, oh, is that abusive? Yep, that's abusive. Fuck that.
Yeah. But then the people that are freaking out about that will go sit down at a diner and be like, I'll have the double bacon cheeseburger and a Mountain Dew. And it's like, all right, coming right up. And that cow that they're eating has just been bred to have a bullet put through its skull, and fucking that's all it's bred for. It didn't have a real life.
Yeah, it's funny. I was talking to a butcher dude once, a mobile butcher, and he was telling this story about going out because he doesn't do the big butcherings. Usually it's just like 4-H people. You know what I mean? Like, just a family that has a pig or something like that, and they're like, okay, we're gonna kill the pig and get the food or whatever. So he just drives his van out and kills the animal and butchers it and shit. No, he said he was telling the story about going out to this lady's house, and it was like that kind of situation. Like, I think it was a goat or something like that. I don't know what animal it was, but she's like, okay, like that's the animal there. And he goes to his car and pulls a 22 out. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to shoot that fucking animal right there and butcher it. And she's like, that's so inhumane. He's like, if I need to, I think it must have been a goat, because he's like, that's how you fucking do goats. He's like, if I try to get next to that goat, he's going to fucking take off, and I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes chasing a goddamn goat around. And he's like, I can just fucking shoot this damn goat in the head with a 22. It's going to drop in a fucking second, and I can get to work. Like, da-da-da. And the lady's like, no, get out of here. You're not fucking shooting my goat. It's like, you just wanted me to kill the fucking goat. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah. Is there a better way? What do you want me to drown it? Fucking light it on fire? This is the best way to do it.
People are crazy. People are just... We're so soft. We're just so soft.
I saw a TikTok listing off the most painful things that scientists have said could ever happen to a human. And it started very, very small, like stubbing your toe, like bee sting, working its way up the list of the most painful things. Like, I don't know, getting kicked in the balls, pregnancy, getting stabbed, getting shot. And I'm like, what's the top thing going to be? Working its way up through like the pain scale. And the number one thing on the list of most painful thing that could happen to a human is burning to death. And I was like, fuck, that's crazy.
Dude, I've since I heard about this, I always kind of like try to put myself, not try, but my brain instantly puts myself in the situation. When you go through all the medieval torture techniques, there was one of them where they fucking put you in a steel ball and then light a fire underneath the fucking ball. And that sounds like the most fucking horrific way to die on the face of the planet. Like, dude, just think about that. Like, you're just in this ball and then it just keeps getting fucking hotter. And you're just like, yeah, then what do? Inevitably, you don't want your feet are so fucked up, you have to sit down, but then your body, oh my God, dude. Like, dude. Horrific. Burning would be so fucking horrific. A lot of deaths, though, with pain, it's kind of weird, though. Burning, I don't know how, I mean, that's so fucking bananas, and really thinking about it would just be so fucked up to think about. But I will say, I haven't experienced that much pain in my life, but from what I've seen other people experience pain, is it seems like when you get to a certain point, it actually becomes easier. Because a lot of people, like, go into shock. Like, I've seen people with horrific injuries, and they're totally calm. You know what I mean? They're just like I was driving in Coeur d'Alene once, and it's nighttime, and I just see all these fucking people out in the middle of the street, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And we have 4 people, and we, like, have to drive around this group in the middle of the street, and we're like, what the fuck? And right when we pass, dude, we just see this girl sitting in the road, and right at her knee, her leg just goes the complete opposite direction. And she's just sitting there and calm as shit. And she was like 17 years old. Like, just sitting there. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, I drove away as fast as I could. I'm like, I can't see that. I don't want to fucking see that. Like, fuck that. Like, that is so horrific.
Yeah, that is horrific. Speaking of horrific shit, I heard this other thing where the old radio show I listened to is based in New York, and they were talking about, and I never heard anyone bring this up before. I don't even know if it's how real it is, but they were talking about, like, one of the guys on the show is like just this drunken kind of deadbeat guy. He was saying back in the day when he was waiting for the subway and he had to piss, he would just like piss on the tracks, like in the corner, waiting for the subway to come to the station. But you can't do that anymore now, you know, whatever. Now there's like cameras and people and stuff. And they were talking about the subway cars when they pass each other, subways are so close to each other. You're talking about like a foot or two gap from when the subways pass each other. And they were saying there's been times where people have gotten stuck in between the two subways, and like when the trains are slowing down or something, and the people get smushed in there and they get twisted between the two subways. And that the trains then have stopped, and there's someone in the middle of the two of them twisted, and they're still alive. But as soon as the trains back up and let them untwist, then they die immediately. So they've left people there in there twisted, and they've like called people's family, being like, "Hey, you can come down if you want, you know, and talk to this person before we back the trains up." And because as soon as you untwist, you die. It was something like that, and I'm like, "What the fuck, dude? This has happened like more than once." Anyway,
that's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. Okay, so oh wait, I'm all fucking jacked up and jacked off and ready to go for some fantasy football drafts because we're coming up on the start of the year. And my family was trying to plan when we're gonna do our fantasy football draft. And one guy was like, "How about September 11th?" And we're like, "Okay." And then, this girl cousin said, "How about September 11th? We can do it then." And I'm like, "Okay." And then she said, "What?" She's like, "Wait, sorry, sorry." She's in Australia, so she's like, "Sorry, guys, if that's like too much of a sensitive day, like we can change it. I was just picking a day." And I'm like, "No, that's fine. Like, I'll fucking fantasy draft on September 11th. Like, what do I care? That doesn't seem that big of a deal." And then someone else is like, "We can't do it that day. We have a wedding we have to go to." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then we're like, "How about the 4th?" We're like, "All right, let's do it the 4th." And then I'm thinking, wait, who the fuck is having a fucking wedding on September 11th?
You know who's having a wedding on September 11th?
Who, you?
No. Someone.
Oh.
That's a fucking perfect day to have a wedding.
Why?
Okay. I've been involved in a lot of wedding things in the last few years. You know, like seeing how they work out and how the planning thing goes along. Guaranteed there's a good special on venues on September 11th to where you're going to save about half of what it would normally be. Because they're all huge about that. That's why like so many weddings are on weekdays. Because it's so much fucking cheaper to do it on a Tuesday than it is on a Friday at anywhere nice.
Well, and flights are really cheap on September 11th, too.
Well, I'm sure they are.
I'm not fucking flying on the day. You can go fuck yourself.
Why?
I don't even want to fly on
You
Friday
think if there's another fucking terrorist attack, they're going to like, we're waiting until September 11th.
It's like, why are you waiting again? I don't know. It's just I still don't want to fly on that day. That's fucked up. I don't even want to have a wedding on that day. What kind of psychopath is doing that?
That's I'll
fucking
fork out the extra. A thrifty psychopath is who's doing that. Someone who's stretching that dollar as far as it'll go.
Yeah, I guess. Fuck that, dude.
Another weird piece. I'm sure you've heard this one because I talked to two people about it, and they were like, "Yeah, we definitely heard about that." So this is probably old news.
Afghanistan?
Oh, wait, what's going on in Afghanistan?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. Same old going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
No, but the Nirvana, the Nevermind baby, fucking.
Oh my god.
Suing Nirvana. Okay. Okay, I know.
I forgot to write that down. I was gonna write it down. God damn it.
Okay, so that's going on. So if ever, I'm sure everyone's heard by now. It seems like this is the most popular story for a few days that was going on. Is the little baby that's on the Nevermind album that's floating naked in the fucking pool, chasing the dollar or whatever. He's suing the Nirvana state or whatever, the Nirvana franchise, whatever that is, for
franchise.
For what?
Child pornography.
For child pornography. And that story was like, okay, whatever. I mean, is what it is.
So
is what it is. I guess it's kind of stupid. I mean, honestly, in this day and age, if I was that kid, I'd probably be doing the same fucking thing. Like, fuck it, dude. Go get mine. If that's the world we live in, where everything's just so fucking just bullshit everywhere, it's like, well, why not? You know, why not take a shot trying to sue someone over something stupid? Like, fucking get a few $1 million out of it. Wham, bam. Thank you. Start a business. Be great. Whatever.
I hope he doesn't get a fucking penny.
I don't really care at all.
Deadbeat.
But
and I hear he's also his whole life he's had to tell people, oh, the pool was really cold that day. Like, it's gotten bigger since then. This guy is a fucking maniac. I stole that joke from another thing. So, but
that was a pretty good joke. But what I find interesting about that is this opens up. You know what's funny is why I guess I never really seen it that way. But if he wins this case, wouldn't that essentially be the standard that literally anyone that has a Nevermind album is possessing child pornography? And why has that never really been thought of? Like, I don't know. Like, we live in this different
it's a baby.
time. Fucking, yeah, but it's still child pornography. Like,
it's like if a little baby is wearing like a 2-piece swimsuit or something, and someone's like, that swimsuit's too sexy for that baby. You're like, why'd you make it weird? It wasn't weird until you said it, or something like that, right?
Where's the line? This is what I'm talking about. These lines, everywhere lines are getting fucking pushed up everywhere, and it's like, wouldn't this line be fucking? Here's the no, zero child pornography. You cannot possess a picture of anyone under 18. Fucking just not. It's the same. It's like the same, kind of the same idea as like 16-year-olds having pictures of other 16-year-olds on their phone. And it's like, well, right. I mean, yes, technically they have child pornography on their phone, but they're a fucking child. So it's a slip.
That's a weird one.
It's a slippery slope. And so where's the line? At 1 year old, you can have a picture of a naked baby. At 2 years old, where's that fucking line?
Yeah. What if the parents have pictures of their naked babies? Are they now
exactly?
Possessing...
What if you have a picture of a 5-year-old kid in a tub? You know what I mean? Like you have your a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old in a tub. You know what I mean? Like a little family. You know, that's not that weird, but you take a picture of it. It's like, well, you have a fucking 5-year-old naked on your phone. Like,
oh, that is just so. It's just hard to even think about. That's because it's like it just seems so innocent, and like all those family things I talked about when I converted all our old family VHS videos to files, digital files, and I have them stored. I'm sure my naked baby body is on there somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's what I took out of the Nirvana thing is.
That's got to be the most famous naked baby of all time. I can't even
other
think
than
of another
Cupid,
one.
Maybe, or the Van Halen baby.
Yeah, but Cupid's not fucking swinging his dick around chasing money like that other baby was.
It definitely,
Cupid's
definitely, probably the most famous naked baby, unless there's like, there has to be a bunch of naked babies like on the Sistine Chapel or something like that might arguably be more famous.
No.
No, Nirvana.
No. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's crazy. You know what's... I don't... See, it doesn't seem weird until you make it weird to me, and then it's weird. But it's like, that could have never... I don't know. I didn't want to go into it. That's just... I hate that deadbeat grown-up baby. He just couldn't find a job or whatever, and he's just going for a cash grab. It's like I saw the thing. I got a news alert on my phone. So-and-so is suing Bob Dylan for raping them when they were 12 years old in 1965. And I'm like, come on. 1965? You're too late, yo. How are you going to prove that? It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and cancel Bob Dylan. I give a fuck less about Bob Dylan.
No. Keep him.
I heard he was a real piece of shit, so I'll just stick with hating Bob Dylan.
That baby's a piece of shit, and I don't like the baby. They should have used a different baby.
Dude, I just can't even, like... I don't know. In this day and age, let's say Nirvana never existed, but the world was exactly the same. And you're in a fucking band, and you blow up, and you just like about to do some album art, and you're like, let's get a naked baby on the front cover. People nowadays would be like, whoa, bro, like the fuck did you just say? And you're like, no, it'll be like, it's like a play on fucking capitalism. Like there'll be a baby chasing a dollar, drowning in a pool, blah 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 blah. Be like, no, bro, that's real fucked up. But for some reason, in 95 or whenever Nevermind came out, fucking naked baby, no problem.
It was like 91.
91? Is that when Nevermind came out? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, in 1991, fucking...
Yeah.
Fucking heyday of naked babies. Fucking, you're in Hollywood. They're like, you want a naked baby? Fucking, I'll get you a naked baby. I'll get you a naked baby by 3 o'clock with toenail polish.
What? Oh my god. Yeah. You know would be yeah. It'd be weird if someone back in '91 had like a poster in their bedroom of that.
Which
I don't think there was
guaranteed they did.
You think so?
Oh.
I don't think there was many posters of that album cover.
I call bullshit. I bet that's easily a thing. I bet I can get one on Amazon right now.
Well, then I'm currently sending an email to Portland PD that you are purchasing child pornography. What was I gonna say? Oh, and plus that crazy fucking deadbeat baby has recreated that. Which I didn't know, but I saw pictures of him recreating it like through the years. You can't just ride one thing for your whole entire life when you were a naked baby. I don't know. If anybody, his parents should just fucking go to jail or something. Well, I wonder what Courtney Love has to say about this whole thing.
Or like a concert thing where they use the baby, like a concert poster with all the dates on it. So they at least had that. So there was definitely people with naked babies hanging in their wall. 100%.
Or T-shirts. That guy's an asshole. Fuck him.
Yeah, I was reminded. Dude, we've done so many episodes that I don't know what we've talked about and what we haven't talked about. I mean, I definitely know some things that we've definitely talked about, but I lose a lot of it. In
racism?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how I got there. I was just fucking telling someone this story, and I was like, I had to have said this fucking story. Have I told the fucking taking the doggy hydros and fucking passing out on that girl? Ever tell you that story?
I have no idea.
At a Modest Mouse concert?
No, you have not.
I went, I was just getting in.
Hydros are stupid.
When I was like 19, we went to Download Festival at the Gorge, and it was Incubus, Modest Mouse, and Presidents of the United States. And so like 10 of us drive to the Gorge and set up camp. My buddy had dogs that like went into surgery, and he had all these doggy hydros left. So he's like, here's some doggy hydros. So like a few of us take doggy hydros. One of the highest I've ever been in my life. I got fucking faded off these doggy hydros, like real fucked up. And like made it through Presidents of the United States at like 6, and then like 7:30 fucking Incubus comes on, and they sucked. It was a horrible show. But I was also really getting real faded in the middle of Incubus. Like I'm down in the pit and I just like can't fucking stand up anymore. So I go up to, we have like a general admission blanket thing, you know, like way up the hill, and fucking go up there, and like there's like 2 girls in our group like holding the fort down. And I was like, and I was dating this girl and she's there. So I like go over to her, fucking curl up on her lap and just like, oh my God, I hate fucking life right now. Like just pass out. Modest Mouse comes on and she like wakes me up, and she's like, hey, Modest Mouse is on, you know, your favorite band. Like maybe you want to watch this show. And
No.
What? Yeah. Well, I woke up and I'm like, and I guess from what they told me, and when the next day or the next day when like the stories mingled together, I don't remember saying this, but I guess I woke up and they're like Modest Mouse playing. I just set up, and I guess I'm like really irritated, and I was not in a good place. Did not feel very well. And I get up and I'm like, I'm going to get a fucking cheeseburger. That's what they said. I said, I swear to God, I said, I got to go to the bathroom, because I did have to go to the bathroom really bad. And it was like, well, the only option is I have to get up and walk way the fuck over there and go to the bathroom. So I do it. And I remember it being a horrific experience. Like it was just so far away, and I wanted to go lay down again. Like, I did not want to be walking to the bathroom, but I had to be walking to the bathroom. So I get down, then you're waiting in line to get in the fucking bathroom, and I'm just so fucked up. And then finally go to the bathroom, and I went down the hill to the stage. There was bathrooms on the left side of the stage.
Yeah.
So I went down the hill, and now I have to walk back up the fucking hill. So I'm walking back up on the hill, and the way up was way worse than the way down. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot easier going down the hill, and then so I'm walking back up the hill.
Oh no!
I turn, and I'm like walking through people now, like walking through blankets. You know, there's like a little. They're leaving like a 2-foot gap between the blankets, so like people can get in and out of the columns, and. Have I told this story? Is this ringing any bells at all?
No. But you fall on some girl?
So, no, I'm walking up, and I'm like staring at the ground. Like, I'm just as lazy as you could possibly walk. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go back to bed. And I'm like staring at the ground, like watching my feet. And then I look up, and I see the 2 girls sitting there. Like, I see my girlfriend, I see this other girl. And then I fucking limp back down. And so my girl's sitting on this blanket with like short shorts on. And she's like got her fucking legs up like this. And I fucking like lay down next to her and just fucking go back to sleep in this lap. And then fucking the second my head like hits her crotch, fucking I just get shoved off. And I like look up. And fucking,
oh my God.
I've laid down on the wrong fucking girl, and her boyfriend is shoving me off of her. And yeah, so there's just this random girl. I just fucking lean in and like go to sleep on her. And then once I get shoved off, this is like 15 feet away from my group, and they are all laughing their fucking asses off, like, you know, by now. And fucking, and then I have to get up, walk 10 feet that way, and then go back to sleep on the right girl. But yeah, that was
That sounds terrible.
It was really bad. And yeah, I missed all of Modest Mouse, didn't see any of it. And the reason I say a lot of people fucking love Incubus and they're blah blah blah. I like their music, but that show changed me because okay, do you know who presidents of the United States are?
Yeah. It'd be hard for me to go through like a track list.
But millions of peaches for me.
Peaches.
Millions are lumps out alone in a boggy marsh, totally emotionless except for heart. Lump filled up into lumps pajamas, totally confused all the passing piranhas. She's lump. Yeah, I had never heard. I had never heard of presidents when we went to that show. At least like on the drive there, that people were saying like Peaches, and I'm like, I've never heard that fucking song. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
When we got to this concert, we're like, so it was a festival, kind of like a 3-band festival, but it was much more. When you go, have you been to the Gorge?
Yes, I have.
So usually when it's like a band, like just a single band, like there'll be like vendors up top and shit. But this was like more festival, so the up top part where the vendors are and the bars and stuff like that was way more. It was sponsored by Volvo, so like Volvo had all these booths set up, and there was like garage bands scattered about, all these things you could do in the daytime. You know what I mean? And it was way different than like a concert to where you go. You know what I mean? Like there. So. Yeah. We're all up in the top section. Everyone is. And the actual stage is fucking empty. Like, no one is down there. There's like 50 people down in the seating section at like 5:30. You know what I mean? Like 5:30 p.m. Everyone else is doing stuff up top. Drinking, eating.
Yeah.
In the vendors and all that shit. And fucking music starts. Like, the band starts. Like, Presidents of the United States starts the show. No opener. They were like the opener.
Yeah.
So you just hear this music, like, playing. And you're just like, huh. When they start playing, yeah, we were one of the first down there. Like, they start playing, and it's middle of daytime, which is a weird time to have a show like that. You know what I mean? Like usually you think of a band, it's nighttime. You know what I mean? It's like the lights are flashing and everything like that. So it was like, it was not set up for them at all. Like it was the wrong time for them to start playing. There's 50 people out on the stage, which is just, it's weird to see a band playing at the Gorge and only 50 people down watching it. And we're like coming down the hill to this for the first song, like, and just like, Jesus Christ, that sounds really good. And it did. And I never even heard of this band. And then we get down there and dude, literally, it was fucking crazy to watch. Cause like they start playing and within one song, 80% of the seating gets filled up and just fucking people just rush the stage. But it sounded so fucking good. And then I had never heard of them, but dude, they come out with a fucking, you've never seen a band like this. It's one amp, one fucking bass guitar with one string on it, a fucking one guitar amp, both amps this fucking big, one guitar amp or guitar, bass amp, tiny, a 3-piece drum set, the simplest fucking drum set ever. Just a fucking hi-hat, a snare, a kick drum. That's fucking it. And they sounded so fucking good. Like, it was incredible how good they sounded. And the most insane energy I've ever seen in a band. They were the best band I've ever seen in my life. And then so the reason I hate Incubus, the long-winded way of saying why I hate Incubus, is they literally, it took them 30 seconds to set their stage and they sounded exactly like they do on album. Fucking to the T, perfect. Like they were so goddamn tight and good. Incubus starts setting up their stage. It takes them an hour and a half to set their fucking stage because it's like 10 computers, 20 fucking DJ mixing setup. Dude, they had the most extensive stage I've ever seen in my life. Just computers, stacks of equipment because it's all fucking DJ shit.
Yeah.
And then like just nestled over in the corner is a drum set, a guitar, and a bass. And then 90% of the stage is DJs, weird fucking electronic equipment everywhere. And then I just was like, this is not music. This is a rapping setup. This is not a rock band setup. I just hated Incubus. I was like, this is stupid. Then that guy comes out on stage in fucking like leather pants and no shirt. And he's singing like the dude from fucking Led Zeppelin. He's like touching himself as he's singing and like doing a lot of hand gestures and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this dude's gayer and shit.
Yeah, I hear you. I've been to live shows that kind of ruined the band for me, at least for a little while. You know?
Yeah. It was just...
But when my Gorge experience was a 2-day festival. It was fucking great.
But, what, like Warped Tour, or what would you do?
No, it was Summer Jam, and it was all hip-hop. It was fucking awesome. And it was like, you know, the whole hill covered in blankets and stuff, and then a bunch of people down there, and the vendors and stuff, because it was all sponsored by like Seattle radio stations or whatever. And the first day was old school, and then the second day was new school. So the first day was like Sir Mix-a-Lot, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Too Short, E40, and Ice Cube, and like one after another. And then the second day was like Big Crit, Kid Ink, Big Sean, and Kendrick Lamar, like right at one after another. It was fucking awesome. Sleeping overnight there sucked, but it was cool that it was 2 days and that they split it up like that.
Man, the second day be stinky day right there. That's what that'd be.
And the without a question, not even close, without any kind of question, the best out of everybody was Ice Cube. Not even close. It was unbelievable. And I wouldn't have said that going into it, you know. E40 and Bone Thugs and Harmony, yeah.
What about Kendrick Lamar?
He was really good too, and that's when we had found some stuff the second night. The first night I was just drinking gin, and I was like, ugh. But the second night we got some other stuff that was a little more like lifted, and like this breeze was coming up the hill, like up towards us. So it was like taking you off of your feet a little bit, it felt like, for Kendrick Lamar, like after the sun had gone down, and it was just like, oh my God, it was great for him. He was a good like professional. Some of those early guys that started at like 5 o'clock, you know, when it's still like the sun beating down on you and it's hot, they're just like openers kind of. but as soon as the sun goes down at the gorge or whatever, it's just like, oh my God, fucking great.
Hell yeah.
And Ice Cube could just be there for like an hour, and like after an hour he's playing another song and you're like, I forgot about this song. There's like so many hits you don't remember. If you had to name them, you could name like 2 or 3, but then after an hour, like, oh my God, this one too. And there was right in front of us, there was a couple, a guy and a girl on a blanket, and the guy was passed out like you were, like snuggled up next to his girl, and his girl was just like sitting like with her hands back, and then she starts like shaking him and then freaking out and screaming, and like paramedics run over, and this guy is like not moving, but he had been laying there for like an hour, and he was like napping, but then he wasn't napping, he was like out because of like, I'm thinking dehydration because it was so fucking hot out. Then these paramedics had like a stretcher and fucking stretchered him out of there. And we were just sitting there the whole time, just hanging out with this couple in front of us because this guy's napping
just right in front of you,
and his girl's just sitting there, and he's nuzzled up against her. But then she's like, he's not responding. It's like, Jesus Christ, that guy needs some water.
Yeah, a Weekend at Bernie's situation going on.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a good time.
I want a bird.
No, you don't. Why?
I do want a bird. I think birds are super cool, and I want a bird. And you got to get a bird early, like early in life. If you're going to do a bird, you got to do a bird.
The early bird gets the worm?
You got to do a bird early in life. You can't be 50 and get a bird. It's not fair. It's not fair to the bird. Because, birds live a really long time.
Okay.
The kind of birds I want. So I feel like you need to pull the trigger early. Because, like, macaws will live like 80 years. Like 75 years.
If you get a parrot, it's just going to say fuck like constantly.
I don't know, but I really want one. I'm like, I really want a goddamn bird.
A parrot?
I want a macaw, I think. I want a macaw. Or an African gray. I think an African gray because they're the vocabulary birds. They have the most extensive word, mimicking thing. And I think that'd be fun. But I think a macaw. I think a macaw is probably where I'd go, which is the big. I want a blue and gold macaw, or the red ones. I either want a red one or the blue and gold ones. But I think I want the blue and golds. Pirate birds, like what's on Pirates of the Caribbean. That bird.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a macaw.
Just sit on your shoulder,
dude. How fucking cool would that be? A little bird hanging out with you. Birds are fucking rad.
It can be our third co-host of the show.
Have I ever, I grew up with a lot of birds. Have I ever talked about that? Like, my mom always had a shitload of birds.
No, but I grew up with a lot of birds, too. And in those old family videos, when we're hanging out, and I'm like a little baby, you can hear them in the background just... Yeah.
What kind of birds did you
have? Like cockatoos.
Okay, cockatoos.
I think. But that's my crazy parents. I don't fucking...
Dude, I want it. We used to have... we had a African gray... And I remember vividly as a child, I remember people coming over to our house and we'd be at dinner. And so we'd all sit down and be eating dinner and there'd be someone there and they'd be like, are you going to answer the phone? And I'd be like, no, that's not the phone. That's the bird. And so the bird would straight up to the T mimic the phone. Bring.
Oh my God.
And then it would be like, hello? And be like, dude, it was fucking hilarious. The bird would do that. He'd be like, hello? Hello? And he'd be like, Erick, for you, and then do what in the 90s. That's what people did. That was like a normal household conversation to have. Is the phone ringing and then hello, and then yelling from across the house like Dustin, phone.
I got it, Mom. You can hang up.
Yeah, and it would have a lot of conversations like that. Just the yelling across the house. Just Erick.
That sounds really fucking annoying. I'd rather get a fish. A fucking beta fish.
God, because you're a beta, bro. Fucking go alpha with it and fucking get a macaw. I don't know. I was having it just re-sparked my fucking interest in birds. I was having a conversation 2 days ago with an 80-year-old neighbor of mine. And we're in his yard and he's showing me garden stuff and his back door's open and we're standing on his porch and I just hear, hi! And I look in the door and he has a really old lady that lives in the house that he's taking care of. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, oh, no, that wasn't her. He's like, that was the bird. And I'm like, oh. It's like, you got a bird? He's like, yeah, we have a fucking... And then we just got on bird talk. He's like, oh, I used to have a bunch of macaws and blah, 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 blah. But he's like, yeah, that one's 25 years old. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, dude, they...
Whoa.
Yeah, they live forever. You can... Dude, if I get a bird now, I could literally have a macaw and we could, like, die together. Like, in our... You know, when I'm, like, 90. So that's fucking... Wouldn't that be cool as shit? It's like having a partner your entire life. Like, just a fucking little bird partner.
All right, that sounds kind of nice to me. Maybe I'm sold on it.
Well,
now.
you know how it works, right? You know how, like... What you have to do with a bird, like birds like that, pretty much all birds...
Put a blanket over its cage.
Pretty much all birds mate once in their life. Like pretty much 99% of birds, that's how birds work, is they partner up and then that's it. They won't mate again. But you can... A bird will like mentally mate with a human. So like, and that's what you want. You want that bird to do that. If a bird spends too much time with other birds and they mate with another bird, you're kind of fucked. Like you can still have it be kind of friendly, but it's not the same as a bird that mates with a human. A bird that mates with a human is like, it kind of thinks it's a human. Like it thinks it's part of that tribe. And fucking, I don't know. It's fucking cool as shit. And so you got to get them young. You got to get them before they spend too much time with other birds. And then, yeah, they mate with you and then they're fucking into it. Dude, so I was telling this guy this story and it's a super sad story. So when my parents got a divorce, we had 3 blue and gold macaws, an African gray, and a red-throated conure when we moved out of Oregon. And my mom had to she got rid of a bunch of the birds still in Oregon before we moved to Idaho. But she kept 2 of the birds because it was just too much. Going through a divorce, you know, she couldn't take care of all these fucking birds because now she had to work a lot more. And so she kept 2 of them. She kept her main blue and gold macaw. It was this macaw called Tonka. She'd had the longest. And then she kept the red-throated conure, which is just a little parrot. And so we moved up to Idaho, and then we had it for a while. And then my mom moved into town, and we moved into a duplex. And everywhere we're going, we couldn't have pets. You know what I mean? That fucking whole pet bullshit. So she got rid of the macaw, which, you know, it was all sad. I was really young during this, so I kind of just barely, you know, I wasn't picking up at how sad the situation was. But then she kept the parrot because it was easier to hide, you know what I mean? A smaller bird like that. Because, you know, the fucking macaws, you have these huge cages, you know what I mean? They're loud as shit. Yeah. Fucking. But anyways, so we get rid of that. And then a lot of time goes by. Fucking, then my stepdad, stepdad gets involved. And he never we kept the parrot for a long time. You know, that parrot ended up dying. We'd had him. We let him free one day because he was just getting so bad. It was like, well, spend the last day out flying around in the wilderness. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
So,
will you shut that fucking cat up?
So anyways,
he's holding if you're just listening, he's holding a cat on his lap while he's telling the story.
I'm punching a cat. Just fucking dude, I turned the fucking didn't turn the notifications down. So anyways, like 5 years goes by since she had sold the macaw. And one day, I don't know what we were doing, but we go into a pet shop there in Ponderay, like next to Second Nature. There used to be a pet shop right there. And fucking, we go into that pet shop, and dude, it was fucking insane. The second my mom walks through the door, that fucking macaw is on the other side of the pet store, and it freaks the fuck out. Like, loses its fucking mind. Second, yeah, we walk in and this bird just starts going insane, and me and my mom are like, what the fuck? And my mom took her 10 seconds. She's like, that's fucking Tonka. And then we walk to the other side of the store, and that bird is dude, it was so sad, dude. That bird is just rubbing up against the cage and fucking, and then yeah, the pet store owner's just like, what's going on? Like, what? And she's like, that's my old bird. And they're like, whoa. They're like, we have never seen this bird act like this before. And then it was super sad. They let the bird out. My mom's fucking holding the bird and shit like that. And she's like, yeah, I had this bird for 15 years, blah, blah, blah. And then my mom wants the bird back because it's like a different situation now. Now we're doing way better financially. blah, blah, blah. She's like, but
Balling.
a few things. One, those birds are extremely expensive. So now we have to fork out money to buy the bird back. Which I think was like $5,000, $6,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, macaws are not fucking cheap. It is a serious investment. I mean, you're essentially buying an exotic animal. And fucking, so we go back home. I mean, that's pretty much the whole story. We go back home, talk to my dad. My dad has hearing aids, and he fucking hates birds. Like, because the birds squawk, and they fucking set his hearing aids off, and you just hear fucking, and he's like fucking ripping the hearing aid out of his ear. So, yeah, my dad's like, we're not having a bird. And so it was really sad. And so my mom calls the pet store like 2 days later and is like, yeah, I can't get this bird. And the lady was like, that bird has screamed all night long for the last 2 nights. They're like, just sits there and screams. And it's like, it's so sad. But that's what I'm saying about that bird, mated with my mom, and it'll never do that again. You know what I mean? For the rest of its life, it won't mate with anybody else. It's like its sole intention is just her.
Jesus.
They're so cute, dude. But I remember, like, as a kid, like, my mom would just let the birds out. And so they'd fucking just be walking. They'd act like a cat, kind of. They'd just be, like, walking across the living room floor, just doing their thing. And, like, my mom could walk through the living room and just stick her finger out, like, as she's walking by, and just grab them by the mouth and flip them up on her shoulder. Just as, like, in a real swift motion. And just do shit like that. They like, I don't know. It sounds fucking cool as shit. I want a bird.
Well, you should get one.
Enough bird talk. I'm sorry I went off on birds, but I do love birds. I'm scared shitless of birds, but I think it's cool as shit. So I just have to get it and get over the fear and just not worry about getting bit. But the macaws are pretty fucking serious because they have 2,000 pounds per square inch on their mouths. So...
Ooh.
If they want to fuck you up, they'll literally chop your finger right off.
Or your kid's finger.
Yeah. But, makes for an interesting story. You got Billy with fucking 4 fingers. Little baby Atticus.
I love my bird, yeah. I went to Vancouver, British Columbia, and I was standing outside of a club waiting in line to get in. And, like, with the velvet rope. And this guy walks by, like, we're all in line, and he walks by the other way, and he has just this giant rat on his shoulder. He's just walking along, and I'm like, whoa.
That's a weird fucking one. I had a buddy with a rat, and it's like, I don't know why you'd want a fucking rat as a pet. It's weird.
But he's like downtown at the bars in Vancouver, just with the rat.
That's gross.
So, for some movie talk, so I watched this movie, The Artist, which I've talked about before on the movie shows. It came out in 2011, and it's a silent film in black and white and silent film, and it won Best Picture that year, and the actor won Best Actor, and the actress won Best Actress. So, I'd always kind of been curious. I don't think I'd even seen a silent movie before. But I was like, I'm going to watch this movie, The Artist, silent movie. It was incredible. It was fantastic, right? It was so good. Halfway through it, you don't feel like you're watching a movie from 2011. You feel like you're watching a movie from like 100 years ago. And the actor and the actress, just absolutely phenomenal. John Goodman's in it. Malcolm McDowell is in it, who I just cherish. And other than that, you don't really know any of the actors or actresses. So every time John Goodman sort of pops up, you're like, oh yeah, this is a newer-ish movie. And it was actually a big Harvey Weinstein movie. He was kind of behind the whole thing, and he was pushing it really big that year in 2011 and pushing it enough that it won Best Picture. Fantastic goddamn movie. It was amazing. But while I was watching it, I was kind of getting vibes. I think I was getting vibes of like wanting to watch like musicals. And it was really weird and I think that had to do with the fact that while I'm watching it, music's just playing, and even though there's no audio, like people's footsteps or punches or talking, there's music playing the whole time. Maybe that's what it did, but I was thinking about musicals kind of, and I was thinking about the whole point of the movie The Artist is about this guy who makes movies. So he's like producing movies and acting in movies and stuff like that. So it made me feel about the movie The Producers, which is a Mel Brooks movie from 1967. and they remade it in 2006 with Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick. And the one in 1967 wasn't a musical. Do you know about the producers? Okay, so you know Mel Brooks.
Yeah.
So Mel Brooks, who made like Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights. So it had me thinking about this movie, The Producers, for some reason. And Mel Brooks is like an American treasure for sure. He's a Jewish dude from Brooklyn. He fought in World War II for 2 years, and then he came back and started making movies. And he was quoted when the movie The Producers came out in 1967. He was quoted saying like he doesn't like Hitler, he hates Hitler, and that he's like, to sort of compete with a dictator, you can't both stand on a soapbox and scream at each other. You got to compete with him a different way. So he just wanted to mock out Hitler, basically, by making this movie, The Producers, which in the movie, The Producers, it's about a guy who makes Broadway plays, but he's kind of down on his luck. He used to be the king of Broadway. Now he's not the king of Broadway anymore. He's just have bad review after bad review. He can't make anything good. And he teams up with his accountant, because one day his accountant, like this straight-edge accountant, is doing his books, and his accountant is saying, that's kind of fascinating. If there was a scumbag director who's just a dishonest kind of deadbeat, he could actually make more money off of a flop than a hit. And this deadbeat Broadway producer is like, say that again? He's like, you could make more money off of a flop than with a hit. And he's like, you've done it. We can make a fortune. So he's like, we have to find the worst play possible, and then we'll produce the worst play possible, and we'll fucking get rich. And they're like, so then they're sitting around reading script after script after script, and they find a script, and he's like, this is the worst play possible. And it's called Springtime for Hitler. And the whole point of the play is like these kind of flamboyant Nazis like singing and jumping and frolicking around, and like this Hitler, and about like Hitler, and there's swastikas everywhere, and it's like Germany's amazing, and in the play, like the Germans win the war and whatever. And they're like, we'll do this and we'll get rich. And they cast a terrible Hitler. This Hitler that they cast is like, he keeps forgetting that he's German. He's like, we'll attack the Germans. They're like, no, sir, you're German. I was like, oh, what the hell? And it ends up not working out. The crowd actually loves it. But at the time in 1967, The Producers movie, super controversial, which makes sense because you're like 20 years removed from fucking World War II. But Mel Brooks made this movie, and it was like really controversial because it's all like swastikas everywhere, Nazis saluting Heil Hitler, all this crazy stuff. And so I'm like, I'm going to watch The Producers. So I watched The Producers, and then I'm like, I'm just going to watch a bunch of Mel Brooks movies to refresh my Mel Brooks knowledge. So I just watched like Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and The Producers. And it was just a fun time.
That's fantastic. I liked your Mel Brooks history there. I didn't know any of that.
Which Young Frankenstein, if
I know
you've seen
Blazing
it,
Saddles, and I know I've seen Young Frankenstein, but it's only been one time, and it was a long time ago. And I definitely didn't know
Blazing
it was Mel
Saddles,
Brooks.
Blazing Saddles, and probably Spaceballs get a bunch of glory, but I think Young Frankenstein is easily Mel Brooks' best movie. It is so fucking good. But
isn't it kind of like a Goonies vibe, like Young Frankenstein?
No, it's like the son of Dr. Frankenstein then like makes his own monster, but it's all very
Isn't it a bunch of kids though that are like hiding this thing or something like that? Oh, yeah. See, it's been so long that I don't even remember.
Yeah, my family, for some reason, when we'd go visit extended family for a few years, we'd always all watch Young Frankenstein.
Huh?
It was good. Yeah. But Mel Brooks is like an American treasure, because I don't know, and it's like it kind of just made me think again about how comedy is now dead completely, and that comedy at the time, I mean, even like with the Blazing Saddles, you could say is like pretty bold to do, but it's not comedy that's like Seth Rogen-y kind of comedy. It's like these movies are like PG, yet they're still kind of like pushing stuff in like the 60s and 70s. I mean, with Blazing Saddles, there was just N-word after N-word. You know, which maybe wasn't that edgy then, or maybe it was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Blazing Saddles is a very interesting movie, and it definitely gets brought up a lot as like that's like the movie everyone points to, and you can't make that movie anymore. I mean, that's like the argument. Like that movie would never be able to get made today because it's just
that one might actually be R-rated, but there's no like naked women in it. There's no like sex.
Yeah, it's just kind of the premise is an edgy premise. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
very racially motivated.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I've
like
seen that movie. I can only really remember the beginning of the movie. Like I just remember the first 10 minutes like crystal clear where they're all singing, you know, on the railroad type fucking thing.
Yeah. And there's a part in the beginning where like these two black guys have like one of those things on the railroad tracks where you push each side up and down. Ring. And then they go into quicksand.
Yeah.
So then the white like owners attach a horse to the trolley thing and pull it out and leave the black guys in the quicksand. And they're like, "Oh man, we almost just lost a $400 trolley." That was, and they're just walking away.
Yeah.
Like, black guys are like, "Hey." But I guess we went from like kind of edgy to like really safe to like really edgy to just no comedy. It's dead forever. Like it is dead. And it's like, at least we could have, I mean, these movies aren't that edgy. Some of them are PG, like Young Frankenstein, but it's like, can't we just have that kind of back that's still like funny? It's like, no.
I don't get why.
You can't.
And I hear people talk about it all the time. I don't understand the psychology behind why it seems like cartoons can get away with edgier shit. Like why, like South Park and Family Guy are somehow they're able to push more racially motivated things and like touchy subjects. But for some reason, when it's a cartoon, people don't freak out as much about it. Whereas if it's live action, you just can't do any of that stuff anymore. Which I don't understand why that is.
Like no one's trying to cancel Seth MacFarlane or Matt and Trey Parker. They don't care.
Yeah.
Or Matt Stone and Trey Parker, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like they want to cancel Quentin Tarantino or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which you could just have like, I don't know. That is a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what that is.
It's just dumb that we're never going to have comedy again. Comedy
is getting worse and worse and worse. Dude, you can't fucking pay me to watch Saturday Night Live. They've ruined shows like that can be funny. But the problem is it's so woke and so PC and they're so scared to offend anybody that it's not good comedy. Yeah. Like some of the fucking Trump stuff was pretty funny, you know, like Alec Baldwin, like that was all right. It was an all right skit that started to just get really overplayed, but it's not good comedy. It's not. There is some. I've seen a few skits come from the black dude and the white dude that do like the newsroom to where they write each other's fucking jokes, and I've seen some okay ones that are pretty risque, fucking, you know, where they'll push the bounds a little bit on like racial shit. But other than a few fucking segments from that, a lot of improv's ruined. Stand up is fucking teetering, you know what I mean? A lot of stand-ups don't give a shit and will kind of stand by that, which I love. But
maybe. But I don't know what the stand-ups who are like, say, 20 right now or 19, what kind of shit they're doing. Because that might be some woke stuff.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like, you get the fucking Pete Davidson, because he's kind of an up-and-coming stand-up comedian, you know, that's coming out of the Saturday Night Live thing. And I think his comedy is super woke. And I'm not really about it that much. But he's blown up. Seems like his name is flying around a lot recently.
I don't like him.
I don't know what it is about him. He bugs me.
Yeah, he bugs me too. And we're never going to have a number one movie of the week at the theaters be a comedy again. It's not going to happen.
Well, it seems like theaters are pretty much done. I don't understand. It seems like there's a systematic assault on movie theaters because now that HBO and Peacock and stuff are releasing movies the same fucking time as theaters, it's like
so stupid.
You're really attacking movie theaters. It really seems like they are trying to weed out movie theaters, which doesn't make sense to me.
It does seem like that. And I watched Jungle Cruise and it fucking sucked ass.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. And I watched it illegally because I'm not giving Disney another dollar ever again. And I couldn't even finish it. If anybody's seen it, as soon as the end fight starts happening with the demons or whatever, spoiler alert, I'm like, I can't watch the rest of this movie. And I don't do that. I finish movies. But I was like, this movie is fucking terrible. I'm done. And The Rock is getting really annoying. And I kind of like the guy, but as like an actor in a movie, I'm kind of annoyed with it now. I feel like I've seen too much of him in movies. It's not a draw anymore really for me. A new Rock movie, it's like, okay, the last one I saw fucking sucked. When's the last time you were like, this movie rocks? It's been a while.
Yeah. I wanted to like Jumanji. Like it was a decent cast, and there was definitely some
it wasn't bad.
Funny shit, but The Rock has been fucking pretty. Yeah, that dude has to be his fucking roster or whatever you want to call that fucking is pretty stacked.
Yeah,
he is his fucking. Well, and he's been in with kids. He was in fucking Mona or whatever. And if you
Moana
or whatever
Moana,
that's it. Yeah, and have you ever heard that song? It's a really good song.
Yeah. So, you're welcome.
Yeah. It was pretty well done. It was pretty impressive. I was like, oh wow, did a good Disney movie. He's literally been in everything. He's had an HBO a big HBO show. He's had a kids show.
Yep.
What would you say he's done a serious role? That's like a serious movie role. That's like,
Well, no. And I was thinking about this recently, but people would say like, oh, he's done movies like Walking Tall or The Rundown or some other movies where he's fighting giant apes or something. And it's like, or San Andreas. And those are kind of serious movies, but they're not like Daniel Day-Lewis, Robert De Niro,
but he still essentially maintains the same persona as The Rock.
Yeah. Whatever he's wanting to do after acting, I think he needs to start pivoting to that right now because it just seems like I'm just over him in movies. I'm over it.
He's definitely been in a lot of them. You see his face all over the place. And he's like, there's other actors that you see all the time, but it seems like they bring more to the table, and I don't understand why The Rock gets so much attention. Because it's like what's his, the black dude that's in everything, Pulp Fiction. Why can't I think of his name?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson has literally been, like, he's an actor that has been literally in every movie of all fucking time. Like, but he's better. Because to me, he's proved that he can do a serious fucking role, like Pulp Fiction or something like that, and just knock it out of the park. But he same kind of argument. His character is usually pretty much the same, other than But fuck, dude. Now that I'm thinking about him, he is such a good fucking actor. Like him and the Django. Jesus Christ, it is such good acting. I love that shit.
Because I hated him in that movie. I fucking hated him, but he made you hate him.
He was so good. The ending scene when he's just like, boss, and he's like, no, you just like feel that connection. It's like, oh shit, like he is fucked right now. You know what I mean? Like you're not really thinking about it until that scene, and you're like, oh yeah, his life just fucking ended. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that because I was thinking about like Ben Stiller kind of level actors, and I was thinking how like Ben Stiller will never win, or The Rock will never win like a Best Actor Academy Award unless The Rock or like a Ben Stiller were to just go way leaps and bounds above what they've shown us so far and do some crazy awesome role. then they could win it. Like a Leonardo DiCaprio is like set up, like he could do it. He could because that's just what he does. Like a Leonardo DiCaprio.
Has Samuel L. Jackson ever won any big awards?
I can look. I mean, he's probably won like Best Supporting.
Because that's kind of sad. Because I feel like comparing him to like Ben Stiller or fucking The Rock I'm like, no, he's a way better actor than Ben Stiller or The Rock. Like he's hands down a better actor than that.
Oh, he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Pulp Fiction. That's all I'm seeing.
Oh. Okay, that sounds about right. And that's probably his best role, in my opinion. What would you say his best role is? I'd say Pulp Fiction.
That's his best role.
Is pretty iconic.
Yeah. And that's John Travolta's best role.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue Grease Lightning is it's just so classic, Grease Lightning.
Yeah, but not as like your acting chops.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's not, it's like, I don't know, it's just like this fucking holy grail of a movie. It's fucking Grease Lightning. It's
Grease. But yeah, but like an actor though, like The Rock is never gonna win that, but he's still like he's a movie star because he can put asses in the seats. Like Tom Cruise is a movie star. Like Leonardo DiCaprio is a movie star. These people are like movie stars. I don't know, and I don't really know which one's not like a movie star.
What's weird is, you know, I don't know. I thought that it was a good role and a well executed thing, but I don't know. You have so many actors that are just dog shit actors, and they're just like comedian actors. I thought what's his name tried and did a pretty good job of trying to break out of his roles that he was stuck in was Adam Sandler. I thought Click was pretty damn good. Like he did a good job like I'm pretty sure like you get a little teary in that movie. Like, man, he sold that pretty well, like the depression side. And then like I feel like
Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is where he really broke out of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Very fucking like, oh, yeah, this is straight up acting. You know, this isn't fucking, you know, his fucking, what he's been stuck in for his entire life.
Shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah. Oh, shampoo is better.
Yeah.
No conditioner.
And I was thinking about that too, because I was saying the last movie show I did, I was saying like George Clooney was never really taken seriously. But then he got it to where he was taken seriously. And I feel like that happened to like a Ben Affleck too. And I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio did that too, where they started kind of as jokes.
Leonardo DiCaprio? Dude.
I think so.
What? He's in fucking What's Eating Gilbert Grape, dude. Right off the bat.
Well, that's true.
Right off the bat, What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He went from that to Titanic. What are you talking about? He was just fucking, as a kid, just fucking... wham! Just fucking slamming him out of the park.
Well, no, Titanic I feel is a pretty corny fucking role.
No. Oh, say you open. It was huge. That movie was bigger than
it was huge.
Anything, and people respected him as an actor in that. You can look at it and be like, that was corny. In 1997, no one was looking at that shit as it was corny. They're like, this is incredible.
Yeah, they were.
The cinematography is incredible. The acting is incredible. This is fucking incredible.
No.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is incredible.
I don't know how you're even holding that opinion. I was completely on board with you until you throw out Leonardo DiCaprio. He is the anti of your argument right there. Like, what are you talking about? He literally came out of like, I am an actor at 16 years old. Like, I'm an actor, like a real actor. And then, to me,
that's true. But I think Titanic is a corny role, and people say
you
like
forgot
he's the
about
prettiest
Gilbert
girl.
Grape, didn't you? You didn't.
I did forget about Gilbert Grape, but people say like he's the prettiest girl in Titanic and stuff like that.
And he is.
And it's like it's like. But anyway, but I like those actors that kind of prove it, and like I don't know, maybe a Brad Pitt kind of did it. I don't know, that kind of prove. And for someone like The Rock or a Ben Stiller to do that, they would have to just fucking go hard, like a crazy role.
Yeah, it'd have to be like I Am Sam or something like that,
Yeah,
going for something hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it. Oh, so now I'm watching a show now that I've heard about on TikTok for a year, but when everybody's hyped about a show, then I'm like, no, I'm not watching it. And then I wait like a year or two, and then I watch it and fall in love with it. Outer Banks, which I've heard about for a long time.
The
and
TV
now
show?
I'm right. Yeah, so now I'm right in the middle of Outer Banks.
You're watching
and
that?
I'm obsessed with it.
Dude.
It's so good.
I'm out.
Dude.
We're done.
No.
We're canceling the show. Okay,
Dude.
Episode 65 will be the final episode. Eric has checked out. He's done with Brad.
No.
Bye. See you later. Okay. Bye.
No.
Dude,
Madeline Klein, dude. Madeline Klein. We should have her on the show.
Shut the fuck up.
We should have her on the show and turn the mics off, if you know what I'm saying.
Dude. My girl I've been watching Outer Banks from the sidelines. For my girl just stopped watching it. She went from Outer Banks back into Twilight, and every time I'd fucking look over at that show, I'm like, how do you keep picking the worst fucking shows in the world to watch? Because that show was retarded. I watched every blip I'd see of that show. I don't know what you're talking about. You live in a fantasy world if you think that that's a good show. You just went from... We just went from talking about Samuel L. Jackson, fucking I Am Sam, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Titanic. We're having that conversation, and you start talking about fucking Outer Banks, and dude, shut up. That is the worst acting I've ever. Every time I looked over, like, what the fuck are you watching right now? Fucking these babies running around looking for gold. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is so
that's my
stupid.
Game.
So, dude, you're watching Jersey Shore is what you're fucking watching right now. You've been ruined. You're ruined. You are a ruined human being. If you fucking... I don't... How are we supposed to respect your movie opinions about Titanic and fucking Mel Brooks and fucking whatever, your Tarantino shit, and then you're
lost in translation.
Okay, what if Tarantino walked in your room right now, like just straight, you're recording, then bam, Tarantino, as the words "Outer Banks is a really good show" coming out of your mouth? How do you think he would fucking respond to that? He would turn around and be like, "Nope, I thought I was talking to someone who knew, was into cinematography. Done with you." You'd shut that door and walk away, and you'd never be able to talk.
No, Quentin.
Right?
Come back.
Would Tarantino sit down and watch Outer Banks? I fucking doubt it.
No, of course not. No,
he'd be like, "This is the worst thing on the planet," because it is.
Dude, you get a couple of hot 16-year-olds together and they're looking for gold. I'm on board with that shit.
Those dudes,
but there are 16.
Dude, that is the worst show ever. That's those.
Dude, it's not a well acted show. It's a fun show, and that Madeline Klein chick is hot, and we should have her on the show and turn the mics off. If you know what I'm saying. She's the hottest thing since fucking Sydney Sweeney.
I don't know what. I don't know.
It's just great.
I'm sure I've seen the girl you're talking about because it's been in the background. Now, everyone in that show is a good looking person. They have everyone in that show was cast just like you were filling up a genre of who people think that this person is hot, and all the dudes were just selected. It's like Edward and fucking whatever from Twilight. It's just like, no, you were selected to make these girls horny, and you were selected to make these girls horny, and then the same has been done for the female actresses. Like, this is blah blah blah. But they didn't do a good job because to me, all those girls are just like ditzy hot girls. They didn't have like in Twilight. In Twilight, they fucking nailed it because they got that fucking. To me, it's like, oh yeah, all these girls are kind of hot. Then they fucking did it with the girl, the vampire girl, like one of the fucking his sister or whatever, the short hair emo looking girl. Bam, that girl's hot as shit. She's so fucking fine. Jesus. And so they sucked me into Twilight. Sucked me in with a super hot girl. Outer Banks, like that's Jersey Shore shit right there. I cannot believe that shit came out of your mouth. It's disgusting.
It's like in the
auditions.
In the auditions, everyone had to take their clothes off, and there's no beer guts allowed.
Yeah.
You know.
Harvey Weinstein was sitting back there like, let's see, yeah. Oh my
Oh
god.
God. That's not bad. Don't listen to Eric.
I'm so disappointed in you right now. I can't believe you said that.
I can't wait to watch season 2.
Oh my
after the
god.
show.
Oh man. I got a great one for you when you're done with that, because she's done with that and she's moved on to a show called Rain, like however you spell that, REIGN
REI.
or whatever the fuck you spell Rain. It's really weird. It's definitely, if you liked Outer Banks, you'll fucking love it. So it's like, from what I've been sitting in the background watching, I don't know what one, I don't know if it was a Netflix or HBO. I don't know what she's watching it on, but I've been catching it, and it is really weird and very much Outer Banks, but set during like the French Revolution, like English sirs and princes, and it's all like the king of Deutschland is marrying the German. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, this like Game of Thrones, but set in fucking, kind of real world England back in the day. Kings and queens and shit. But it's like all these young people are like the princes and princesses of Scotland and shit. But what's weird about the show is it's all like, that's the setting is very, the politics of like Pride and Prejudice type situation going on. But they play like modern music, which I find very odd. Like they'll go from
I like that.
They'll go from like a, yeah, like I don't know, and then it'll be like guitar like dun 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 dun. It'll be hey, and then it'll be, you're like, what is happening right now? And then it'll be a dude in like froofy shit on a horse, like fucking riding up. You're like, what is? They're listening to the Killers right now? Like, what is happening right now? Like, this is so weird. But it's all just hot kids. It's cast the same way. Who's hot? And they just like, oh no, acting skills? You don't need that here. Like fucking,
yeah.
You're just, how good do you look with spiky hair? Yep.
All right, maybe I'm in.
Yeah, I think you will be. I think you'll.
I think maybe you saw a blip of Outer Banks, and then you walked outside and came back inside, and she had changed it to Jersey Shore, and you were looking at it, and you're like, fucking Outer Banks, and you just couldn't tell the difference.
No, I watched the fucking scene, and I was invested in the scene. No, I'm sure you've seen it already because it was early. It was definitely season 1, but they're like in this fucking VW bus, and this Charger pulls up behind him. And he's acting like a cop or something like that, and like walks up to the fucking door and then pulls a pistol out or whatever, or a shotgun out, and all these kids are like laying on the ground. And then like that fight scene to where the dude gets like, he forgets about a dude laying there, and then he ends up in the back seat of his cop car. I'm just watching, just like, this is so fucking like, Jesus fucking Christ. And then he like bats him in the back of the head and fucking get his keys, and fucking they throw. I'm just like, this is the worst thought out fucking scene ever. Like, no fucking way would this play out the way they're doing it. And then at the end, then it gets like really serious, and they're like, Dustin, don't you fucking do it, brah. And he's like, I'm fucking doing it, brah. And he's like, yeah. And I'm going to his house. And the girl's like, no, don't go to his house. He's like, brah, I'm fucking doing it, brah. Bro, I'm fucking do. Would you want some, bro? And it's just, and then the girl, I can't believe he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. I'm going to his house. I'm gonna steal all his shit. And it's like, oh my god, a lot of bras, bro. What are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
I have lost. I hate you. I hate everything about you, Brad.
I don't know what to say. I still like it. I'm not gonna let you ruin it for me.
This is why the world's fucked, is because people are out there watching this fucking bullshit.
Well, if people would make something better, I'm out of shows to watch.
It's not that show. That
Madeline Klein chick is that show.
I hate you so much. Do we want to try to get serious? I don't. Now you've got me so worked up into just. I'm so upset about that. But I have it written down because it's a thought process. I kind of want to, and it's an obvious thought process. It's exactly is what it is. But dude, fucking not working, not having something to do is the most depressing fucking thing on the planet. Like being stagnant is so fucking depressing. I hate it. Like all jokes aside, the last fucking 2 months has been not fun. You know what I mean? Like, not a good time. And getting back into a schedule was actually really hard for a few days. Like, it was just like you get so lazy and so fucking, and the more lazy you get, the more depressed you get, and the more depressed you get, the more it just fucking builds on itself. And the depression, and then you feel like I'm not accomplishing anything. And then you're just like, I'm not making money. And then that makes you more depressed and more want to sleep in and forget about life. But the more you do that, it just keeps building. And then you like eat it yourself. You're just like sitting in your mind like you're a piece of shit. And then you want to sleep till noon every day because you feel like a piece of shit. But then sleeping in till noon makes you feel like more of a piece of shit. And you just go down this. Yeah. It's been rough. And getting back into work, God, I don't know how people don't. Not work. I don't.
So you're back to work?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm working for this roofing company right now, and it honestly took like a week to kind of come out of the depression, to fucking finally start feeling good about myself and doing things. And then you get home, like, you wake up at noon. You fucking, what do I do? And you don't do anything. You just sit there and watch Outer Banks for an hour or something like that, and then I don't know, I couldn't even get the motivation to like clean, and I'm such a clean person, and shit just started going downhill because it's just like I don't want to do anything. And I don't know, if I go work for 8 hours and come home, I'll literally get more. I go to work, wake up early in the morning, go to work, bust ass all day. I will get more done at home getting home at 6 o'clock than I will if I wake up at 11 o'clock at home. I won't get anything done. I'll just like maybe take the trash out and like, well, that took a lot of energy. I need to sit down and rest now. You know what I mean? Like, fucking better.
I forget what it was, but my buddy John, who works a full-time job and owns the North Idaho Jiu-Jitsu and instructs classes there, and is really busy constantly all the time. Like, people don't know how much it takes to run a small business, especially as like a side gig. And I asked him to do something once. I forget what it was. It was like, come over to my house and help me fix something or help me move or something like that. And I was like, I'm sorry to ask you, man. Like, I know how busy you are. And he's like, dude, it's okay. If you want something done, ask a busy person to do it. And I was like, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you ask a busy person to do it, it's going to get done. Instead of asking a fucking lazy person to do it, maybe it'll get done. But yeah, you're more productive. Sometimes I get home from work and I just keep going and I'm fucking taking trash out and I'm cleaning and doing all of this stuff fucking shit. But on the day off, it's like, I don't even want to start.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like it's like the body in motion stays in motion. But that isn't even really where like I kind of wanted. I don't care where we go in the conversation, but just like the depression shit, like that's kind of more where I was going, like how dark things can get. And it's fucking crazy how fast things can get like really dark. You know what I mean? And like, it got real dark for me. You know what I mean? Like just not working, just like, I don't know. I could just sit in my head and just keep picking, you know, and just like, man, this fucking sucks. Every life sucks. And it's like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, it's like the more you set a bar and you reach bars, like you instantly forget about accomplishments. You know what I mean? Or like feeling good about something you've accomplished. It's like, which is good. That's also a good thing, is to not like gloat on like, you know, like to me, it's like, sometimes it's astonishing. Like I'll sit down and like be like, holy shit, I own this house. And I'll like, you forget about it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, that's crazy. Like I own this, like, and that's an accomplishment. You know what I mean? But it's like in the middle of depression, you don't see any of those things. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I have to like go around like in the middle of depression and like get real ego, like really like work on boosting my ego back up. Cause it's like, look what you've created. Look what you have here. Like, you know, even material objects. Like, look, that you own that. You know, you built it. You worked for that. You got that. And it's like mid-depression, you'll just forget all about that. Yeah, babe? Do you want to just...
And we're back?
And we're back. And we're back. I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, little situation, but we're all good.
No, I get what you're saying. When I take too much time off, I feel like a worthless piece of shit. And I think at the beginning of this whole pandemic, I was in a group text with at least one guy who's listening right now and another guy, and two of us were saying that by sending everybody home, literally, this is with a conversation at the time, literally sending everybody home for 2 to 4 weeks or a couple months was going to have an overall negative effect on people in this country that is going to be hard to even measure, as in like suicide and depression. And this was when we all thought it was going to be done after like a month or two. And the other guy was like, it doesn't matter, it'll be fine. And we're like, no, a lot of dudes really, like, who are their job is their identity, like, it's going to have a bigger effect. People are going to start killing themselves because they no longer have a purpose or value that they feel.
Yeah.
And once you feel like you don't have value, maybe it's more for men, but I'm sure women too, like once you feel your value is gone, then it probably just starts to spiral. I mean, I don't think it really spirals for me, as all the times in my life I've been unemployed, it's usually only been for like at the most like 45 days. Since I've been like 14 years old, it's been like at the most like 45 days. If you had to spend like a year or something like that unemployed, oh man, like.
Well, and some people, I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what it is about being employed. It kind of scares me if I started my own business, if I had the opportunity to be lazy, that I'd actually not do as well as working for someone else. But yeah, I envy people that can like work out, because that, you know what I mean? I can't. I don't know. That's so fucking boring to me. And if I'm not I don't know, if I don't have a purpose, I won't find a purpose. It's having a purpose will make other things like the more I work, the more I'll play music and the more I'll do like extracurricular activities. But if I take the work away, I don't want to play music. I don't want to work on any skills, or, when I have all this time to do it, when you have open time to like accomplish things that you should be accomplishing, like reading, learning about something, playing music, fucking I'll
projects around the house.
I'll just shut all that shit down and go play video games. Just like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah, I hear ya. Yeah, it's just like, while I hate fucking working, I fucking hate fucking working sometimes. But like, at least it's something I can bring some value to and just feel some sort of accomplishment with it. And that's why I think a lot of guys or people just, when it comes time to retire, like a lot of times, like Elton John has been doing a farewell tour for 35 years now. And it's like a lot of people, it's like, it's like, I feel like a lot of people just work until they die. And it's like, they don't want to retire and just put their feet up. Some people do.
Well, I'm seeing it fucking, I guess it's not just me in this situation. Yeah, I guess this ties into people in retirement and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I foresee it's not sad because he doesn't seem sad, but it's kind of sad with my parents right now is, my stepdad is not an active person, and he's never been active. Like, he doesn't, he's not like a lot of other people in my family that are very physically active. He was an operator at a dam. Literally, all he did is fucking sit down all day. You know what I mean? Like, he'd get up every few hours and walk through the dam, check numbers, and then sit back down on his ass, turn the TV on, and just, fucking, that's what he did for 30 fucking years. You know what I mean? Just literally sitting down all day, essentially having a desk job.
Not like snowboarding
and
hiking.
They would be active. Like, they would obviously, like, my parents are highly, like, output. Like, there's a lot of output happening. Like, things are getting taken care of. Like, the grass is getting mowed, but it's not physical. And then my parents, retired. Now they're retired, and my mom is very physical still. Tries to work out, tries to be, and you can tell. And she's mid 60s. Coming into pretty getting there, but she's very good. My fucking stepdad is fucking bad. Like, just getting like fucking, it's been in 2 years he's drastically gone physically downhill. You know what I mean? Just like fucking can't move very well. Yeah, I mean, he's still good, but it's like you're just seeing it, and it's like, dude, you you need work. You know what I mean? Like you need work.
Yeah.
Like I can see that not working is not good for you. You know, and he's happy, but he's just like drinking his time away. You know what I mean? Like he's like, what? Guess start drinking. You know what I mean? Fucking it's 9 o'clock. Like nothing better to do. Like fucking. But then he's just sitting in a chair all fucking day, and he's like happy. But it's like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
You need a project. You know what I mean? Like your mind is going down, your body's going down because you don't have projects anymore.
Yeah. If somehow I make it to retirement age, I don't see myself like ever fully retiring. As in, like, I'll still go do like a part-time thing.
You got to keep going, and you can just see it. Like the people who retire, and like, you know, if that's what you want, and I think that's a lot of people's dream. I mean, fuck, dude, that's cool. If you work, you get a retirement, and what you want to do is fucking sit down and watch Jeopardy and go golfing all the time, like, more power to you. But it's like my neighbor down here, he's fucking 81 years old. If you met him, you would be like 60. He's maybe 60. You know what I mean? Fucking, he's old, but I mean, he's always out gardening. Fucking all he does is he's out in his garden, always moving. And it's like, dude, at 81 to be fully function, you know, doesn't walk around all slow, can totally fucking take care of it. Then you'll meet fucking people, 60 years old that have just given up. You know what I mean? And they're fucking, oh, fuck, oh, god damn it.
Yeah. We had like a little old neighbor lady when I was little, and she was like 80-something, 85 or something, and she was like always mowed her lawn, always like moving firewood around, always like outside doing stuff, like moving shit around. And it'd be like, wow, that lady is just so independent still. But it's like, that's what's keeping her alive still.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I'll always feel like I'll have something I have to do.
I like to think that way, but I don't know, because then I see like with you laid off and fucking, dude, that's what I mean, shit deteriorates real fast. Like mentally, 2 months. Mm-hmm. It took me 2 months to like, you know, get depressed, like not being in a good headspace. You know, fucking anxiety starts getting, because I'm always an anxious person, and anxiety always sits like right there. Like, but give it 2 months of not working, and it is like a serious battle I have to do. Like, you know, some deep breaths, like calm down, everything, you know what I mean? Stop fucking, what am I anxious about right now? Everything's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, but you put me to work for a week and get me outdoors and fucking, great mood. Come home from work, I'm fucking happy as a clam. Fucking, I'm with the fucking kids. I'm like a way better person. You know what I mean? Like happier and want to be more into it. Yeah, fucking 2 months in, just little girl's like, what are you? I'm just like, you can just watch TV. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just being a fucking total Debbie Downer. I don't know. Depression's a weird thing. Mental health's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to talk about it, I guess.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. But I've never been out of work that long. So I don't know how bad it can get, but I've been able to see the little glimpses of it and just be like, oof.
Yeah. And I think that sickness even made it worse. There was an excuse there a little bit, you know, like, fuck, I got sick for a long time, didn't really, you know, want to get out of bed. But then that kind of, it's the excuse doesn't work as much power as like, it just made it even more mentally fucking draining. Just like you're sick on top of it and fucking, then you just feel like even more of a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Lately, I've been like a productive motherfucker. I've had like 7 or 8 giant things on my to-do list that were like big things, and I am down to like 2 left, and it's almost all done for. But I get what my buddy John would say about if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Because even something like you have to go register your car, not online, like you have to go somewhere. Like if I'm knocking out my to-do list, I'm fucking getting that shit done right now. But like you give that to someone that is like, you know, down in the dumps like that shit could take months to get done. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I like when I'm in the fucking knocking out my to-do list because I write it all down on like my whiteboard, my whole to-do list, and I just love crossing and just crossing things off the list.
I know,
Boom,
and
boom,
like,
boom.
right, I am usually a fucking really big list person, and for the last 2 months,
Yeah.
I haven't had a list going. I usually always have a fucking notebook sitting on my desk,
Yeah.
and as I think of something, I just write it down, and I'll just fill up a thing, and I love it. On a Saturday comes, a day off comes, it's like I wake up and like what to do. It's like, just go to the list. You know what I mean? Go to that list and start fucking attacking. And it's like easy.
Yeah,
it's weird how easy it can be when you write it down and your focus is more about exiting it off the list. It just makes it so like, I don't know, so like easy. It's just like clear as day. Like, what do I need to do to scratch this off? Okay, attack, go. And like a lot of things, like if I don't write it down or it's not on the list, I'm like, okay, I need to get on the computer and fill this out and do that. And I'll like fucking procrastinate that shit forever. I'll just be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And then it'll just get lost in the ether in the back of the head, just like, you need to do that. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. But if it's on the list, you wake up, you're like, fucking let's do it. Let's get on the computer. Fucking, this sucks, but let's go ahead and just get this fucking taken care of.
Yeah. And my dad would do that too. He, like every morning he would sit down with that notebook that you have and just continue the list, crossing things out, adding stuff. And I do the same exact thing, but on a whiteboard. It'd just be like, call 401k people, clean vehicles, mow lawn, make doctor's appointment. And I'm just fucking boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there's something special. I don't know. There's something even more special about like the list and the crossing off. I don't know what, it's like a mental trick. It makes you, it gives you complete the task, but it gives you even more fulfillment. Like something about like actually like seeing the progress like right in front of you. It's like it's almost like what I'm saying about like, it's almost like working for someone else. You know what I mean? To me, that's like the mental trick is if it's on a piece of paper, it's almost like I'm doing it for an employer almost. You know what I mean? Where if it's in my head, I'm like, well, that's my shit. So I can be lazy on this one, what, fuck it, I'm the boss. But I don't know, it's like the list becomes like this fucking thing I gotta just attack, like beat this list up.
Yeah, and it's like if it's a list of like 5 things and I complete them all, it's not like you rip the paper off and throw it away. I like leave the crossed off ones there. Yeah. And someone was saying that someone recently was all overwhelmed about something starting and how they had a million things to do. And I'm like, did you make a list? It's like, no. I'm like, make a list first. Put some music on, like put on some fucking 2000s rock and make the list. That's where you got to start with this, and then you can just fucking go.
It becomes so much easier.
But yeah, it's interesting one.
I've been in contact recently with someone.
Madeline Klein?
No. And I don't think he listens to the show, but he might at some point. And so I don't want to, and I wouldn't want to talk bad of him, but.
Oh boy.
No. This is all good. But he's fucking on one, and I really like the dude. I mean, I could say some negative things, but I do really like this guy. But
is it me?
No. But he's a fucking flat earther. And we get to talking about it, and I don't know, man. I've been
like legitimately, because people will be like, Brad's a flat earther, because I'll argue with someone being like, how do you know it's not flat and stuff like that, but it's like, I'm doing it.
He's not doing it sarcastically or ironically. He's legitimate. He'll be like, I'm a flat earther, but then he's like, okay, I'm not like totally invested in this, but he's like, these questions that are being raised I'm going to look at seriously. And he's just been in my opinion, he wouldn't put it this way, but in my opinion, he's been manipulated by YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Just been manipulated by the shit. And what really irritates me, I don't know, we didn't get into it, but I let him just riff. And he wanted to riff. Like, he wanted to go off for an hour about different topics that, will explain to me this. If this is this way and this is this way, then why is this way? Can you explain that? You know what I mean? And the problem I have with a lot of people in an argument, it really irritates me when it's like, dude, but you're coming at me with so much like planned information, and you're like asking me for a rebuttal, and it's like, it's not fair. And it's like, and it's not, it's bullshit because it's not solidifying your argument that like you think it is, and maybe for some people it is. But what's happening is you're just on the offense, and you think you're making me look bad by throwing out some shit, and you're just like, well, can you explain that? And it's like, well, okay, first off, I'm not a fucking astrologist, so no. And you're giving, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not dumb because I don't know, the speed of the fucking planet in comparison to the sun. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's just, it's frustrating. It is so frustrating getting into a debate. Like the fucking flat earthers, anyone that's conspiracy theory wise, just the way they structure their argument is just fucking bullshit. Because I don't know. It's just irritating to me. I hate the YouTube videos. It's just like, I can watch the YouTube videos, and it's just like, don't you see what's happening right now? Like, why, if you were making an informative video about how something is not how everyone else thinks it is, and you're like, okay, I understand. I understand the truth of what's happening right now. I'm going to make a YouTube video explaining to the world what the truth is about said topic, flat earth, whatever the conspiracy theory would be. Why would you add ominous music to your music video or to your YouTube video? And it's like, okay, just step back for a second. Think instead of thinking as someone who's trying to tell the truth about a subject. The fact that they have ominous music playing in it, is they're not trying. That's not their goal, or that's not their motivation. They're a producer. They're producing content. You know what I mean? Like, that person is doing that. They're not, to me, it's like, just step back. Look at what is being created. That's coming from someone like me or you that isn't thinking really about the content they're putting out. They're more concerned about the production they're putting out. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, what's going to get views? You know what I mean? How am I going to persuade someone? Not, you know what I mean? Like, to me, I just see that. It's like, if you put music on there, it's kind of, but you've already like, something's fishy. You know what I mean? You're doing this to like persuade me with feeling, not with just facts. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but I don't think that makes it
You don't listen to a TED Talk and they put me... It may not be incorrect. It's just a real... Instantaneously, you've made me instantly start questioning your motives, because you're obviously... There's no denying that you're trying to persuade with feeling. You know what I mean? You're not presenting facts and trying to persuade that way, or maybe you are, but 50% of your shit is trying to be as ominous as possible. Like, well, did you know that the two towers had dun dun bum 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 bum, and it's like, oh yes, the Illuminati, and it's like, oh Jesus Christ, like,
Well, I get what you're saying,
and they obviously fool a lot of stupid people. You know what I mean? Like, they fool a lot of stupid people, and it's like, fuck.
But if you look up a Columbine documentary or a fucking D-Day documentary, they're gonna have ominous music.
Same. I have problems with that shit too, because documentaries are opinion pieces. The people that are making documentaries are going into the documentary trying to push an agenda. It really fucking... Dude, you can sit down and go through two different documentaries of the same exact thing, and they both come to two different conclusions, but they will pack an hour and a half of like facts and documents. But if you go out, okay, you're making a documentary about something real that's happening. You go out and interview 100 fucking people. If you are going out as a producer, as I want to create this said subject, you were going to be so lasered in on, you're not trying to tell the truth of the situation, you're trying to prove what you think is correct. So let's say Randy Weaver. Why do you get two totally different fucking mindsets about how Randy Weaver is? If I go into a Randy Weaver thing and I'm like, he's fucking justified in this shit, I go interview 100 fucking people, I'm going to take 50 of those people and throw them in the trash because they don't follow my fucking what I'm trying to push in my agenda.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with bowling for Columbine or something like that. It's like, it's so one-sided, and you can't just, I don't know. So the fact, even though it's like bowling for Columbine, you fucking start putting music and fucking getting real ominous with certain subjects. It's like, you're trying to trick me. You're trying to trick me with production value. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just putting facts out. You know what I mean? You're not just saying this happened, this happened, this happened. This is documented here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but it can still be true information.
It can, but we are humans. It's
but like a lawyer,
it's like
a lawyer in the courtroom doesn't like bring the speaker out and be like, play on the night of July 2nd when Eric left his house, like, you know, in front of a jury. They just say it.
Yeah, but they use but they can't use music. If they could, they fucking would. 100%.
Yeah, that's true. I get what
we
you're
live
saying.
in this world. It's like a human. It's like a fucking psychology. Like it's like a fucking problem. Is to where facts always get it. Like, you got a fact, and then the second that fact touches a human, it gets manipulated and then that person takes the fact and like, what can I do with this fact, and how do I manipulate someone else? Like, how do I turn that into? If it's statistics, fucking irritate the shit out of me. It's the most blatant fucking twist. I hate whenever anyone throws a statistic out. It's always like, I don't know. I pride myself in being pretty decent at math, and it's like, I feel like a lot of people aren't, and they can get easily confused by like percentages and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, but you'll just manipulate a statistic. Before the show, we were talking about COVID things, and this is like the most irritating statistic. This is why the COVID thing makes me so mad. Is I get a message about every 3 fucking days on my phone that will say new COVID deaths in Oregon 205, and that's all the fucking headline will say. And there's so many statistics like that'll just. How can I manipulate a statistic to fit my agenda? And then they'll find it and they'll use it and they'll make it as gross as possible. Or a graph, like the graphs that fucking will be like, okay, let's for anything, it'll be like a normal graph would be like 100 up, 0 to 100 up and 0 to 100 left to right. And it'll be like, and it'll show like, okay, Bitcoin over the last 5 years. Let's just use that for an example. But let's say I want to make it, okay, the person that's trying to make it as drastic as possible, like the growth, they're going to go, okay, I need to set my graph up 10 years ago, and that needs to be the starting point. You know what I mean? Because I need to see that growth. Now, someone that's trying to fool you into thinking, oh, it's not that much, they're definitely going to be like, okay, we can't go back 5 years. You know what I mean? We need this graph to start, whatever. You know what I mean? Or that's
a good example.
Or they'll start fucking, or the one that's really tricky is, and again, I feel like anyone that's decent with, that's just smart enough to realize what they're doing, a graph will be like, instead of 0 to 100, vertically and 0 to 100 left to right, it'll be like, you'll look at the left one, you'll be like, oh, you tricky bastard. It'll be like, it'll start at 60 and go to 70. And that'll be the whole graph. And then the bottom will be like 0 to 100. And it's like, so what they're trying to do is flatten that fucking, like, you know, they'll try to flatten that fucking line out where it's like, well, but if you went from 0 to 100, it would be a totally different looking graph. But you're manipulating that graph to fit what you want. You know what I mean? And it's like, the fucking case studies are the people in Oregon. It says 205 new deaths in Oregon. When did you? Okay, what do you mean new deaths? You can't just say that because you're literally leaving half of the fucking information out of your headline. You could say, is that 205 deaths from a month ago? Is that 2 months ago? Is that a year ago? You know what I mean? Yeah, you can make anything sound bad if you're like, okay, there's been 10,000 new suicides in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, that's horrible. Well, no, that's from 2015, but no, it's still really bad. And it's like, oh, you skeezy little bastard. Like, I see what you did there, you fucking asshole. Like,
yeah. Well, they say every 40 seconds someone kills themselves. And most of them live in Wilson, North Dakota during the winter time. But that crypto is a good example because in the crypto communities on Reddit and Facebook, whenever crypto drops like 30%, CNN and like the news financial TV shows will say like crypto crash, but we always have a joke in the crypto communities where the chart's going way up over 10 years and then it dips down a little bit. And then there's a red circle around that, and they zoom in on that, and they say crypto crashed 30%. And it's like, if you zoom out, that's only in like the last, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just take the dip at the end of it.
That's what I'm saying. And so, but it's like that with so many fucking things. Again, I'll go back to the analogy. There's fucking truth and there's fact. The second it touches a human manipulates it for their end game. And no matter what that is, if that's a news entity, the reason the news people are saying 205 new deaths is because that's a catchy fucking headline. And however that person,
it's a great headline.
The person who wrote that headline, they did that shit intentionally. They left that information out absolutely intentionally. They did. Because if they had to like be real factual, it wouldn't sound as bad. It'd be like 205 deaths in the last 2 months or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, you made your arguments. I don't know. So it's like everything. And I don't know how that ties back into flat earth, but it's the same thing. All those YouTube videos essentially is just like, there's just an end game. And a lot of that's like, I don't know why you'd want to, you know what I mean? I don't know exactly what the end game is, but it's just another manipulation by a human just to manipulate someone else. Like, think the way I do. I'm right. Or trolls. I'm assuming 50% of conspiracy theories are just trolls out there like, oh, dude, we'll get people to believe this shit. And it's like, dude, put some ominous music on. Let me talk about the Illuminati for a second. And it's like, then you got a bunch of people like, I fucking knew it, man. I fucking knew Oprah Winfrey was the fucking devil. Those fucking Satanist worshiping pieces of shit. And it's like, okay, I guess, like...
Well, I've watched videos that people have shared where it just says like basically just said like these celebrities have sex with children, and then the video is ominous music and it's just showing Google images that people saved of like Will Smith, Beyonce, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, and it's just they just put a slideshow together of images they Googled of every celebrity, and it's like dun 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 dun. But then people will be like, all these celebrities fucked kids. And it's like, what is this video?
It's okay.
It goes real extreme.
And then like that ties.
And all the birds aren't real people is all just trolling that the birds are just drones,
But then the problem is they've now those YouTube videos like that have literally convinced 100,000 people that birds aren't real.
Yeah.
And now we're dealing with that.
Yeah. I know. I follow the pages. They show like an eagle killing someone's drone that they fly, and they're like, this is cannibalism because the eagle is killing the drone.
People just are lacking critical thinking skills right now. It's the same thing with fucking black people are just getting killed left and right by cops. There's how many people live in America? Fucking 300 million or whatever that is, like 280.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Like, you want to find 1 out of 300 million people. You're trying to find a white cop killing a black man. You're going to fucking find it. You will literally find anything you are looking for if your sample size is 300 million people. Like, you want to find a hate crime? You're going to find a fucking hate crime. Like, literally anything. If your agenda is anti-people fucking frogs, you'll find someone fucking a frog. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what you're looking for. You're going to find it. So it's just like that... just mixed with like the whatever it is, whether it be fucking Black Lives Matter or flat earth shit, it's like you're going to find someone fucking you're going to find a statistic to back up what you're saying. You're going to find facts to back up what you're saying. You're going to find it. You're going to manipulate it somehow. It's just crazy. And then you just have so many people that just like, yep, that's right. And there's a little bit of music in the background, so I'm definitely sure Oprah fucks kids. Like 100%.
Right.
It's like
100%. I hear you.
Sorry to get worked up about that.
It's okay.
It's
crazy.
I just hate people.
I love it, but it is damaging. If my kid was saying that shit, I'd be like, dude, what? But I love it when I'm talking to some crazy adult, like a janitor or fucking. I love talking to crazy people and them just going off about that. I love that shit.
But then again, like, I'm not discounting any, like, I'll give every conspiracy theory, even crazy ones, I'll give them 1%. Like, I'll give them 1%. I'll be like, yeah, maybe.
You're pretty skeptical even about professional people. I've told you stuff that Neil deGrasse Tyson said, and you were like, no, it's not true.
Like what?
Okay. That he said that it's expanding, and then in a billion years or a million years or whatever, the time and space are just going to rip apart because it's expanding so much. It's like a sheet.
Okay.
It's going to rip.
Okay, here's another weird argument I have. Okay, I don't think anyone is really all that fucking smart. I think there is like some weird fucking smart people, but okay, like when you turn on the TV and there's like a fucking doctor that's like talking about some bullshit and like, okay, no, this is the way it is, blah, blah, blah. Dude, construction workers may be a lot of like pretty much just retarded across the board. But I feel like I've worked with enough people like, let's say in my industry, and you start seeing the vice presidents, the CEOs, people making good money, people dedicated to their craft. They've spent their whole fucking life learning about something.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking retards. You know what I mean? I just meet them. I'm like, you are not a smart human being. You've just memorized something and you've gotten good at this small section of shit and you just keep repeating it and you think you're good. But at the end of the day, you're a fucking retard. Like you may, whatever. And then it's just like, when I look at the medical field or any field like that, I'm like, full of retards. Like, I think most people are fucking stupid. Like someone that is like a doctor that gives birth to a baby. Okay, you went to medical school. You learned what you need to learn. You're repeating it over and over and over again. It doesn't mean you're like leaps and bounds above everyone else. It's just you're just good at what you're doing. It's like, but for that doctor to start talking about like viruses or something like that, it's like, well, I just because you have a doctorate doesn't mean that you're just like leaps and bounds above everybody else. You're just really good at the biology of giving birth to a baby because that's what you've studied on. And that's, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, look at chiropractor people. Fucking, that's crazy talk. This is just a crazy made up thing. And it's like, they're like, no, I'm a doctor. It's like, do you get what I'm getting at all? Like,
yeah, I get what you're getting at.
So when CNN brings you like same, I guess, same exact thing I'm saying is like, CNN can go find someone to say what they want to say. Or if I like it the same with the conspiracy theory people to be like, they'll find an engineer for fucking steel structure buildings and be like, this engineer says that is impossible, that the buildings would not fucking fall that way. And it's like, who the fuck's this guy? I don't give a shit if he has a fucking engineering degree. I've met a lot of engineers, fucking retards, like not smart people. Like they went to school for a long time for engineering. When they fucking are introduced with a problem, they flip open a book and are like, yeah, that's what we need to do right there. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude? And it's like, well, I have an engineering degree. You think this building just stands on fairy dust? It's like, you're a fucking idiot, dude. And it's like, somehow you're making $200,000 a year. What the fuck, dude? And it's like, so I like with Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's like, okay, I get it. You're probably a really smart guy, but it's like, I'm not going to take everything he says with like, no, it's absolute impunity, like 100%. The earth is going to tear. It's a cool theory, and I'm sure you have a lot of stuff to back that up, but it's like, dude,
well, I will take it with certainty when he's talking about his specific
field. But it's still like, okay, but has shit not been fucking wrong before when people are fucking estimating it like...
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
If you're saying we're a fucking grain, our galaxy is a fucking sand grain in a beach and, and like compared to the fucking Baja Peninsula, and then you're going to tell me with impunity you understand like how it's all going to end, like it's just like, dude, if that's the comparison you're making is that our galaxy is so big, it's like, dude, then you can't even comprehend that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were literally telling me it's so fucking massive and incredibly big, and the possibilities of what's out there and what could be possible because it's so massive. And then in the same sentence, you're going to be like, yeah, but this is how it's going to fucking get so big and it's going to rip apart. It's like, you don't, you definitely are more, you're the most fucking, out of me and him, obviously, you have a lot more information than I do, but is that not kind of you don't see any hole that you may be wrong here? You know what I mean? Like that there may be certain things that are left out of the equation and you may be the best person to talk about this, but could you be wrong? You know what I mean? Especially when right before you just said that, you said it's so incredible how incredibly small we are and how incredibly big everything is around us, and that we can't even really comprehend things that are beyond. You know what I mean? Like,
you're skeptical.
Be skeptical of everything and be skeptical of everyone. And just because everyone thinks someone's smart doesn't mean they're that smart. And people that are smart about a subject can be talking about something that they don't really know. And you can't just give them, just because they went to school for something, had a doctorate, or have done it for a long time, doesn't mean they're necessarily 100% right. They could be missing something that they're not professionals in. And they're giving opinions about something that they're not professionals in.
Yeah, they could be.
Like, I can talk to people, engineers or people that I've worked with that have 30 years construction experience, and they'll be introduced to the problem in construction, and I look at them like, how in the fuck do you not know that? You know what I mean? And it's but if you backed up and you and someone off the street is like, who do you believe about this fucking how slump works with concrete? Are you going to believe the 30-year veteran with a degree in fucking engineering, or are you going to believe a fucking dumbass construction worker? And it's like, everyone's going to be like, well, that guy, he has so much credentials behind him. And it's like, no, he's fucking wrong. I know he's, you know what I mean? And I've seen it firsthand. Like, I don't give a shit what that degree does. You're fucking wrong. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't think that happens in the medical field? You know what I mean? Like, you don't think that happens?
Yeah. No, it happens. Yeah. That's why there's, like, in the medical field and science, there's, like, peer-reviewed shit where you have to get 100 of them together to agree on something.
Yes. But a lot of things you're hearing is, like with that, is that not a theory, the whole fucking ripping thing? How could that even be peer-reviewed? You know what I mean? It's just a theory, right?
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just an idiot construction worker, but I will also argue anything. Anything. I'll argue anything.
Yeah.
You want to?
You're skeptical. You'll argue jiu-jitsu with fucking Joe Rogan.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. I don't know, if an expert tells me something, I tend to believe it, I think. Okay. Not just some random YouTube video uploaded by John O7562.
I'm not saying, that was just devil's advocate on just being skeptical of every bit of information you get. Because I think, like, I'm not saying, look, that whole argument about Neil deGrasse Tyson not understanding what he's talking about, like, obviously, I think that dude is an intelligent dude and understands things so much better about astrology than anyone you're ever going to meet. I totally believe that 100%. But I'll also just give some bit of doubt to what anybody is saying about anything. You know what I mean? Especially when they're starting to get out of their realm of expertise. It's just like,
Right.
Like listening to if like right now with the corona shit, it's like listening to a fucking doctor that specializes in fucking something start talking about fucking viral diseases. It's like, well, that's kind of weird. You know what I mean? I get that you're a doctor and you went to 8 years of schooling, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but it's like, I guarantee, let's say you have 8 years of learning how to do something. Multiple of those years is just learning how things work, how a hospital works, how paperwork, you know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
It's like, dude, I don't give a shit that you have a doctorate. It's like, all these fucking you're telling me you go to a hospital, everyone with a doctorate is just fucking smart as shit. No, he's a fucking anesthesiologist. What he did is he focused so fucking hard on on that one fucking field. It's like, yeah, he probably has a pretty good idea of anatomy and shit like that, but that person can't be talking about someone who went to school for 8 years for viral diseases. You know what I mean? It's like, they're totally on, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm a construction worker. I can't fucking go off on how
cars work.
Yeah, like just something that's not what I've dove into. It's like, or let's say like paint. Like paint's a great example. I've been around a lot of painting. I've been around a lot of house building. I can't tell you shit about painting. You know what I mean? But out of me and you, I'm way more. I'd be like, well, I've also been in the construction industry for here. But it's like, I couldn't tell you the difference between gloss and fucking, I don't know. You all right? Is the world ending? Is there an Amber Alert going on?
No, there's someone at my front door.
Uh-oh. Get him.
I gotta go. Do you want to just keep talking for a second?
Yeah, sure. Or, okay. Yeah. Bye.
Just keep talking.
Okay, I'm talking. Get out of here.
Okay, be right back.
Get out of here, honky. Well, I'm sorry I got so worked up, guys. I just do that sometimes. You get me going. Brad just gets me going. You know what it started with? It started with the fucking Outer Banks thing. He just got me so hot and heavy, and then I couldn't come back down. Couldn't come back down. Red Bull hit me. I don't understand Outer Banks. I don't understand. I don't know if he was fucking with me about how good of a show that is. I think he was just getting me worked up. But now I'm fully worked up. Now I'll argue anything. But, yeah, I hope you guys are, Oh, he's back.
Sorry, man.
He's back. Was it the ambulance?
It was my landlord. My landlord dropping stuff off.
Ah, nice.
I apologize.
You are gravy, baby. You are gravy. Dude, we have been going for a while now.
Yeah, I have one more thing I need some serious help with.
Okay.
And I feel like this is, I'm not trying to be over dramatic, but this is probably the toughest question ever presented in the history of mankind. And if you steer me in the wrong direction, I'm going to be fucking pissed. So, let's say you're going out with a girl to dinner to meet her parents for the first time. I'm wondering about the paying situation. Now, I don't think you're a Sopranos fan, but I'm 4% Italian, and I love The Sopranos, and there's an episode in The Sopranos where Tony is going out with his daughter and her new boyfriend to meet him for the first time, and they're having dinner, and everything's good. They're laughing, they're clinking glasses, everything's going great. The kid's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Then he comes back to the table, and he's like, we're good to go. I took care of the bill and everything like that. So then they get up and leave, and they're outside the restaurant before the daughter comes out, and Tony's like grabbing the fucking kid and yelling at him, like about to stab him, being like, you don't fucking pay, I fucking pay, you don't pay. So I'm like wondering, in that situation, like, am I supposed to pay, or am I supposed to just seem like a freeloader? Like with a dad there.
Yeah, that's...
Because I know we've talked about tipping before, and recently I've been tipping like really well. I've just got this thing where I'm like, if I'm going out, I've been tipping like 30%. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, like, am I supposed to just be like the freeloader, or am I supposed to like grab for that bill? You know what I mean?
No, I totally. And that is kind of a rough situation. With certain parents, I'd play it a certain way, but for the most part, I would probably, what would happen in most situations, first time with someone else's parents, is definitely don't do that. Don't walk up and go pay for it. That's really weird. That's very, very weird. But what I would do is check comes and you just say, hey, we can split it. Like right when the check comes. It's like the second the second a waiter comes down to do it in whatever way they do it, like, oh, here's the check, or will this be separately? You just, yeah, we can split it. And then 90% of probably what's going to happen is they're going to be like, no, we got it. And then right when they say that, you need to go, okay, but I got the tip. And that's how it needs to go, bam, 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 just like that. And you just cover the tip, and then everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. You feel like you contributed. They paid it. They're like elders. They're doing it. But the only time I'd say that goes different is if they're poor. If they're poor people, like if...
Oh, my God.
Well, no, it's just, I mean... Honestly, if they're poor and it's like, then it would be more like, I'd be more aggressive with just like, no, let's just split it. You know what I mean? And I think poor people, they would feel like they did their due, like they tried to cover it and then you rebutted and now everything's fair. But with like if I'm out with someone's parents, like if I went out with your parents and like we all went out to eat, that's exactly what I'd do, because then I'd feel, if I kept pushing, like no, I'm covering half of it. Like no, I'm covering half. You're kind of being an ass to them. It's like no, like it gives for someone that's not hurting on cash, and you go out to dinner with someone that's below you in stature, which should be if you're going out with someone's parents, or they should feel like the control, like the alpha out of everyone. You know what I mean? Like in that circumstance, and demanding that you split the bill with them or that you pay is like, it's almost like you're trying to be like, no, I'm equal to you in stature, or I'm above you in stature. And it's like, you don't want to do that with parents unless they're poor, because which could be a slap in the face, but that's just like, well, I know, like,
I don't even want to say can we split it? I feel like I should just make the offer, like, is it okay if I pay? Then they'll be like, no. Be like, okay,
then say that, and then when they say no, say, I'll cover the tip. If you want to, if it's gonna bug you, like you're being a freeloader, there's some people I'd go out with where I'm like, they got it, man. Like, fucking,
yeah.
If I know they're relatively wealthy and it seems like they're taking me to dinner, you know what I mean? Like, fucking cover it. Like, if I'm with my parents, I ain't fucking paying. Like, I ain't fucking paying unless I wanted to go, I forced them to go, then I'd be like, I got me, but they're still paying for them. You know what I mean? And I would feel that way about most parents, but if it's a first date situation, I expect them to pay, probably. You know what I mean? Like, but I will offer the split. She's like, yeah, let's split it up. And I would assume 90% of people are like, no, we got it. And then if I really wanted to be helpful, or if I feel weird at all, then I'm going to be like, well, I got the tip. And if they dispute that, then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to be like, yeah, you guys got it.
But you're a real piece of shit if you just sit in silence and expect them to just do it. And you just sit there like a little kid.
But it depends on the situation. Because it could be, if they're like wealthy and balling, I wouldn't even feel bad. I'd just be having fun.
Right.
But
okay,
depends on the person. That's for sure.
But I should bring some cash just in case.
Oh yeah, definitely have cash. Don't go planning not to pay. Go with money to pay for the entire thing, and then work it out from there. But I wouldn't expect to pay for the whole thing. But yeah.
Okay, so bring some 5s and some 10s in my credit card.
Bam.
Oof. Okay.
And then definitely tip well.
Yeah.
Definitely do at least the 25% tip if you're going out.
Yeah. Not just like 4 singles.
Yeah. See, and that could be a problem. That could be, let's say, let's fast forward 10 years and I'm going out to dinner with, or 15 years, and I'm going out to dinner with my daughter's boyfriend. And he does that. He's like, hey, let's split it. I'm like, no, I got it. And then he goes, I'll cover the tip. I'm going to be like, no, I got it. Because in my mind, I'm going to instantly go with, this fucker is going to not tip well, and it's going to be a problem. Because now I have to make him look like a piece of shit by putting more money on top of that. You know what I mean? And I'm not walking out with this motherfucker giving $4 tip on a $100 fucking, dinner that we just went out to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could also see, if I'm a parent,
it just sometimes it just seems like the older, that's why it's like going out with someone when there's an older guy there. And I don't just mean like older between like me and you or me and Vince, like older guy that's like has like 40 years on me. That's when I'm like, now I'm kind of wondering what to do. If it was just like me and the girl and her mom or something, I'd be like, oh, I really want to pay for this, But when there's like a guy there that's like 40 years older than me, then I'm like, I don't want to insult the guy.
Definitely offer. You definitely say something, but make it as cool as possible, and don't fight if they say something like, no, I got it. Then don't just be like, oh, okay. All right, can I get the tip? No. And it's like, okay, sweet. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's been fights before over who's paying.
With parents?
With just people in history.
Mainly with people you know pretty well, though, right?
Well, I just know that, like, for some reason, like, my mom's dad and my dad's dad got in some big fight once over who's paying.
With your mom's dad and your dad's dad, like those two people going out together. Yeah, see, that's... but to them, from your perspective, that's weird. But for their perspective, that'd be like you and your brother going out to dinner, and you're like, I'm buying, and he's like, no, I'm buying, and you're like, look, motherfucker, I'm buying, and he's like, no, I'm fucking buying. You know what I mean? It's like, God damn it, like that motherfucker, like,
yeah.
Okay,
I get what you're saying. Copy that.
Yeah, yeah. It's never that big of a deal. It is kind of awkward a lot of times how that plays out, but I mean, usually that's weird with parents, but usually with me, it's always like, I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love paying for dinner. I don't know what it is. It's just like, dinner's one of my favorite things, and paying for the dinner is like one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Tipping well is one of my favorite things. It's just all around. It's like I love giving money to dinner. It's like, I love dinner.
Yeah.
I love the social, everything about it. It's just such a good thing.
Yeah, I like it too. But it's a douchey thing to go to the I've never done that, to go to the bathroom and to go pay and then come back and say, hey, it's all paid for.
Someone just did that to me, a buddy of mine. And you know, it did feel, we went out to drinks. I went out like a week ago, and I went out to drinks with a buddy. And it was someone that had worked at Stellar, and fucking, you know, I'd been off work for a while, and I told him that, but it was like, I don't know if we're going to probably have to wrap this up soon. I have a weird feeling I'm about to run out of fucking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up pretty damn soon. But I went out to dinner or drinks with this dude. And maybe he was just being friendly, and we're pretty good buddies. But it was this weird thing to where we're outside, I'm smoking. I keep agging him on for more drinks. Like, he was only going to be there for a drink or two. And I'm like, oh, let's get another drink. And I had a tab going. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the one it was a bar that I usually go to. I'm like, yeah, start a tab. And then he's, right before he leaves, like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. And then he was only in for, like, real quick. And then he comes back out, and he's like, I got to go, buddy. I got to go. I'm like, okay, see you later. And then I finish my beer and my cigarette and go back into the bar. I'm like, okay, I'll cash out. And they're like, $3.50. And I'm like, no. That's way wrong. I was like, there should be, like, at least 8 to 10 beers on there. And they're like, I'm just seeing one beer. And then I call my dude. I'm like, did you just pay for that tab? He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, oh, God damn it. Okay, well, thanks, man. But we really got to go because my shit's about to shut the fuck off. So Eric and Brad Show, episode 65. I love you guys. Eric ran it a little bit. This should be a long fucking episode. I think we're damn near close to 3 hours. So Sawyer should be happy. Love you guys. Have a good one. Until next time, Eric out, Brad out. Bye.